What's up? How are you? How are you doing? Can you tell that I'm like kind of energetic today for a Monday, especially? I think it's because of the subject matter of this short discussion we're gonna have. And I say short, but I'll make sure it's about 3 hours, just because of that comment that I got on the 40K video. Now I'm gonna make sure that we hit 3 hours on this one too. I'm petty like that on Mondays, okay? So, but also because of like the next stream, which is gonna be after this one, which is going to be a Baldur's. Yeah, it's gonna be a Baldur's Gate stream. Good save. It's gonna be about Baldur's Gate, um, and that's gonna be very hype. I feel. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. I am. I'm doing really well. I don't know. I'm pretty hyped. Obviously, um, I wonder how this is gonna go because and how well it's going to do on YouTube. I'm really fucking curious. Considering the 40K one got like 500 views or something out of like nowhere, like a complete ass pool. And I wonder like if I can recapture the magic with this one, but I'm not doing it for that. I actually wanted to talk about Arcane anyway, and so I will. But it's gonna be fun to watch anyway. I mean, you know, to watch how this is gonna unfold, okay? Um, right, so what's gonna happen is for probably the second time, maybe third over like, I don't know, 5 years now, 6, I have somewhat of a script. By which I mean I have like notes randomly taken while I was watching Arcane, which I want to bring up and discuss, like each one separately in a vacuum, I guess, but also like criticized as a whole. Now, I guess before we go into that, there is a disclaimer to be made about it. So first and foremost, I don't like Arcane. Okay, and I don't like League of Legends. League of Legends is something I would play with friends, I guess, if I had a full group, so we can actually fuck around and like not care about toxicity or anything like that, which is not likely to happen ever. So yeah, I don't see a reason to play it. I don't like it as a game. Now Arcane, of course, is something I went into for the second time, but both times I tried to watch it. Especially this time, I tried to watch it without any of my feelings towards the franchise, like getting involved. I honestly wanted to like it. I was like, okay, that's something a lot of people like. And even though, you know me and peer pressure, we don't mix well, but like I was like, okay, put all that aside. Okay, put all of that aside and just try to enjoy it. Yeah? Hi, Neris. And for that, I employed the help of Neris, because otherwise I would not be able to watch it past episode 4. I've tried Bishore. I've tried Bishore, but it didn't work. I was extremely bored, or rather, not entertained, and so I just couldn't go through. But with Neris and just like discussing certain points here and there, it was bearable. I didn't hate watch it, I promise you that. I didn't watch it just to hate it and then come on here and like shit on it. I genuinely wanted to like it, I genuinely wanted to find what's good and what people love and why it quite literally is said to be, is rated as a true masterpiece, to quote. Which that is a very hefty title over there, especially for something that is essentially a glorified music video, which is my TLDR. Truly a masterpiece is something I would call like, literature pieces such as the Odyssey or, the Iliad or something like that. Those are masterpieces. Other works as well, more recent ones like medieval ones. But this, a true masterpiece. Like, how low have your standards fallen? Anyway, not to pretend that I'm like some kind of intellectual or anything, but like, yeah, being Greek, I have inadvertently, not escaped, like reading certain stuff. And being a fan of like medieval fantasy, I have inadvertently not escaped reading other stuff. So, it's not like I'm very literate or, well versed in the intricacies of Macbeth, for example. But, um, at least, I don't know, I feel like this isn't a truly, masterpiece. So I'm gonna just criticize it a bit. Um, so I guess this is gonna contain opinions. Like it is, this whole thing is an opinion, okay? This whole thing is an opinion. If you're not okay with opinions that don't match with yours, you're gonna have a rough time. Unless you also don't think that Arcane is like truly a masterpiece, to quote again. Um, so yeah, I don't have any contact with the lore. I am as fresh as they come when it comes to like League of Legends as well, and Arcane, obviously. And I do realize as well that like Arcane is meant to be, it's one of those cases where it's based on, right? So the lore doesn't match 100%, obviously, but to me that doesn't matter because I'm not gonna criticize that because I'm not able to, because I don't give a shit about League of Legends lore. Um, so yeah, it's I just watched the thing and I want to talk about it, and that's my perspective. That's all I got for you. There's nothing else to say in terms of disclaimers other than sorry if I hurt your feelings, I guess, or sorry if I call something you like bad for my taste. It's for my taste, right? You're allowed to like it, even if it objectively is a piece of shit, which that's a hypothetical, right? I'm not saying it is. You would still be allowed to love it and like it as much as you do, and that's okay. I also love things that are pretty shitty objectively, but they have qualities that I really find endearing, yeah? So that's allowed. So don't worry about that. I'm not attacking your taste. Um, I will directly attack like Arcane's weak points according to myself. Uh, Myself not being an authority again or a professional, critic or something. I just watched it and like, a lot of people are going crazy over it, like literally frothing at the mouth. And so, and it got a second season as well, which honestly, I'm not gonna watch. Like, I tried to watch 2 episodes of the second season with Neris, so buffed. I had some buffs there, some stamina buffs, some like fun buffs and other shit, good company buffs. I still don't think I can finish it. And by now, having watched like one season and the third, I feel I'm in a position to like, you know, talk about it at least. Just discuss my opinion about it. So yeah, it's pretty much like my take on 40K. It's my fucking opinion, and yeah, deal with it. I don't know. So, and I may be wrong in some things, but that's why you're here for, to provide like some counterpoints, I guess, if there are any. And if they're valid, they will be accepted. Trust me. Because I would love for somebody, like for certain of the things, like for certain things that I have there on my list, I would like for somebody to be like, hey, this is happening because of this and that. Oh, this is your opinion because like you don't know that in reality this and that is true. And yeah, that might actually make me like the damn thing. At which point I will lose my virginity to you because I will manage to like something that a lot of people like, which is kind of unlikely for me. No pun intended. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to any kind of like conversation about it. But yeah, and some of these points, assuming they're correct anyway, um, for some people they're not going to be a deal breaker, but for me, those points are deal breakers. And yeah, what can I say? That's just my brain. That's just how my brain works. We can't like it's impossible for everyone to like everything. It's impossible for everyone to have the same view. It's impossible. Like people have opinions and they have differences, and like their fucking brain and they get stimulated by different things. Like I don't have to explain this shit, okay? I'm trying to make it land kind of softly on you that I will probably shit on Arcane, okay? I know at this point this is probably considered a war crime in some countries. Like for example South Korea, like, I hear they're pretty fucking, zealous about it. So What can I tell you? I guess I'm a fucking war criminal for doing this. Also, this is not for cloud. This is not to be contrarian and gain cloud by virtue of being contrarian towards something that is like widely accepted. It's just, it literally is just how my brain works. I can't enjoy those things, okay? And I don't think it's a matter of age as well. I'm quite capable of enjoying like innovation and new ideas and fresh takes and remakes, reboots, remixes, and other stuff. And like I love fancy colors, and you know, it's not age, dude. It's just legitimately my criticism. Okay, I'm really sorry, and I genuinely. What's baffling to me is that I should have loved this. It's the same shit that I felt for Cyberpunk. Like, this is something that really fucking speaks to me in terms of like vibes, right? So why do I fucking hate it? And of course I had my own reasons, which, you know, I've mentioned plenty of times during those streams. And so here we are with Arcane as well, where I feel like from the first second that I watched it on the second time, because on the first time I was very negative, I'm not going to deny that. And you should know by now why I was negative the first time I tried to watch it. Since I've explained many times how my fucking brain works with like peer pressure and all that, and like, you know. But this time, from the first second, I was like, this is something I should love. So what's wrong with it? Like, why the fuck is my brain like not responding to this shit? And yeah, that's that. In this stream, I'll, you know, attempt to, you know, to show you why, or say why. And yeah, I can't. What else can I say to kind of like buffer this, or to kind of like soften, you know, dampen the impact it's gonna have to your kind, sensitive, fragile souls, you know? I don't know. I guess you're gonna have to take it from here on, you know? You're gonna have to fucking bite down and take it like a bitch. Because I fucking beat down and took Arcane like a bitch, okay? So you're gonna have to take my opinion like that. We're gonna be sweets all day. So, yeah. And do note, again, this is completely separate from the game, okay? I'm not trying to criticize the game by criticizing Arcane, alright? Or the company, or the players, or the people who like it, honestly. So I don't know what to tell you after that. Alright. Well, let me bring up like that little weird list that I have of things that I noticed during. And hopefully, because obviously I couldn't be pausing every time I saw something that I thought demands explanation or further analysis, because that would have obliterated like Neris's brain at that point, like pausing all the time, writing something down, you know. So it's only the major points that I'm going to be bringing up. But there are other smaller points which I don't think I will discuss, but I do hope that they pop up in my brain and I go like, oh, by the way, blah, blah, and you know, make it more thorough for you, you know. And also because I know that you're enjoying my voice and you're enjoying like my presence on stream, and you think that I'm your favorite streamer and you can't have enough of me. So, you know, I hope that I get more material pop up in my brain and share it so you can have more. Right? Isn't that right? Isn't that why you're asking why my videos are 3 hours? Fucking Christ, that question. And yeah, so I can't wait. Like personally, all right. So what I'm expecting is, I'll also tell you what I'm expecting. This will cause. I'm expecting I'm gonna upload this to YouTube or on YouTube, and then after a week, it will probably either cause no ripples, or it will go the 40k video way and cause ripples, and then I'll get hate messages like, "You will never be a woman," or you know, shit like that. That's kind of like, it's either or. I've never had so far I've never had like anything constructive thrown at me on YouTube or on stream, to be honest, with very few exceptions. You know, Neris, for example, or Wordawin, or stuff like that, like 2 or 3 people at most. So maybe I'll get I'll get off the hook easy on this one, right? And nobody will notice it. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I have hope, sometimes, that my videos all fly under the radar. Exactly because it feels to me, at least, by what I've sampled, that all I'll be getting is like just negative attention, right? But I'm only half hoping for that because, hey, you know, getting views is nice. It's actually nice. So yeah. But I do shudder and cringe at the prospect of this getting like, I don't know, another 500 views on YouTube, and then like a couple of people going like, oh, boo, boo, you're a trans person, boo. But we'll see. I don't care. I'm gonna dare these waters. I'll fucking navigate. It's alright. So this has been like a 20-minute intro to who knows how long of a video, right, of a stream. And before we start, let me check my Discord and see if I need to take care of something before I kind of disappear from there. Okay, yeah, no worries, all good. And so, the first things I've noticed here, the first things I've noted are, and it seems to me that they were the most prominent. Let's start from the start, actually. I say here that it feels like it's a hodgepodge of things. Maybe I've watched way too many movies and read too many books and can recognize all the influences, and it's starting to backfire. Or, indeed, it's a fucking salad of like everything I've seen. Like the female gremlin from Gremlins, the whole BioShock Infinite atmosphere, the Undercity, like such a mix between like World of Warcraft and fucking 40k like Hive cities. Literally, the whole thing with Jinx, it's very Senua like. Not in a bad way, but like it's definitely like I can see it. The cyberpunk vibes also are there, definitely there. And those are just examples of things I noticed. And taking inspiration from is one thing for me, but ripping in parts from everything that we've seen until you have a story, I'm not okay with that. Like, yeah, you can be inspired by a couple of things, but like putting everything in the same cauldron and just hoping it's gonna fuse, it for me obviously didn't fuse because I could see it for the separate parts that it consists of. So the general, like, my most generic observation, so to speak, is that it is very easily perceivable, such a fucking salad of things. And the problem is that they're not even references per se, they're like literally ripped from something and like fused with other things to create that whole thing. It's like it's trying to do everything. It's trying to be steampunk, cyberpunk, Victorian, retro futuristic synth. Like it's a 40k. It's for some reason you can't ban that guy. Yeah, I'm not even sure why you can't ban that guy, but I can try to ban that guy. Compressed warehouse, what the fuck? There you go, I can ban him, and I did. Fuck that guy. And that was a bot, by the way, that wasn't even a guy. So that was my first observation, that like I couldn't look past that. The fact that there is even like those pink big daddies from BioShock, as well as the fact that like the upper town, let's say, also is completely just BioShock Infinite at that point. I don't know. It's just it was jarring for me. It was way too much. If I couldn't recognize half of the things in there, Probably I would have been okay with that. But being able to recognize things completely ripped from something and just puzzled into, Lego brick fucking into something, just I wasn't okay with that. I wasn't okay with that. Like even the uniforms of the soldiers of the upper city, let's say, I'm gonna call it upper city. I don't give a fuck about the terms. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not a fan. Um, they looked very 40k to me as well. A bit between like Jinro and 40k. It's I don't know. It's tonally all over the place. And because of that, some things also further down just don't make sense to me, and I do note that. So that's my first criticism. It's like it was way too much. It's like a fucking. It literally overloaded. It literally memory overloaded me or reference overloaded me to a point where I didn't care. I was like, it's like I'm watching disjointed parts of other shows compiled in such a way that they make sense. So, but the fact that they make sense doesn't absolve it. It's still what it is. It's like fake movie trailers. I don't know if you've watched any, and you realize that they've ripped apart other trailers and movies and like collated them into something that could have resembled a trailer. That's the sensation I got, and that's how jarring it was to me. I was like, oh, this looks fake. This looks like fan fiction of League of Legends or something, which it is. It honestly just is. It just happens to be canon. But the problem is that the quality of how they assimilated the various sources of inspiration, if you want to be polite to them, is just literally 12-year-old levels. Like, oh, let me just rip this page from this book and then put some glue on it and like paste it on, and then on that I'll have my GI Joes fighting, like that kind of thing. I was like, I don't know, dude. it's just jarring to me. Um, Another thing I noticed, which is like, I guess one of the, I'm gonna delete that point, by the way. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'll talk about this point instead now, which is essentially that there were way too many plot lines at once, like unfolding at once. Especially the first season, and especially the first half of the first season. Oh my god. Um, I found myself between like, uh, what is the word? What's the fucking word? Um, I don't know. I don't remember the word. But let's say that like it felt like there were way too many threads to follow. It felt like this would have been something I would have enjoyed more, or parts of it. I felt could have been their own thing, which I would have enjoyed more. There you go. That's the correct sentence. Like for example, Victor's story. I fucking love that shit. That's something I loved. I would have watched that. I would have watched like a kind of like drama about Victor's, origin story, where you don't even see Jinx. You don't even see that, other shit that I don't give a fuck about, you know. That would have been interesting. Or the dynamic between Jace and Victor, like a drama based on that. Like call it, I don't know, call it League of Legends Victor, and just have, let it be a series on its own. I would watch that and I would be okay with that probably. Um, if it weren't also for other issues that are more general to the style. But on its own, I would have been like, that's actually good drama, that's actually interesting. However, it gets lost among all the other shit plot lines that like I didn't give a fuck about, honestly. Um, they were very contrived, I would say. Um, I don't know. The only people I could genuinely observe the story of was Victor and Jace, and not Jace's alone. Even though Jace could carry, because there is something there. There could be a story there of how like a ruler just um, comes into developed. Let's say, okay, how a ruler can develop from like this guy into somebody that can rule actually over a city. and then also fail or try to be redeemed and all that. That would have been interesting. He could carry. Victor definitely could carry. Um, I am struggling to find who else could possibly be interesting enough to actually warrant watching or following their plot lines. Like, uh, Silco's Bodyguard would be interesting. Silco's Bodyguard would be interesting as a solo like series. The one-armed like woman. That would have been interesting. I would have watched that. Mm. Anyway, the point here was too many flashbacks, too many origin stories of too many people I don't give too many shits about. Which I was like, I was spacing out. I was literally just mentally checking out. I was mentally checking out of that shit. Like for it, I couldn't watch. I was like, I'm not interested. I'm just not interested in those. Um, I think that might be like the reason why I wasn't interested might be because there's not much really going on with these characters, but they're trying to get screen time forcibly, it feels. I don't know. I will tell you the truth. I would even watch a different kind of Jinx series because let's not fucking kid ourselves. This was a Jinx series. Um, and I'm gonna talk about that obviously. But I would have watched a kind of Jinx kind of origin story like it was, but a lot more focused on the psychological, right? And done properly because I have a few words about how it was done. Okay, so more like Senua's whatever, more like Hellblade 1, yeah, not 2 but 1. Okay, more like how they had done that, like that kind of thing would have sold it to me. Instead we got like something very surface level, and I have a few words about that thing as well. But yeah, generally I just found like most of the plot lines very contrived. I was like, there's nothing there, and there are way too many as well, and I just couldn't fucking follow them. From a point on, I was like, why don't we, why don't we like decide which perspective we want to follow? Why don't we decide um, who really this series is about, and just follow them in a more dedicated way so that we don't get completely just disjointed flashbacks and origin stories all over season one. I couldn't fucking handle it. And so with that, I don't know. I feel like that was like very sloppy. I guess they could have pulled it off if maybe each season was going to focus on like one character, maybe, or each half of each season on one character. Maybe it could have worked then. And then maybe on season 4 or 40, I guess, because they're gonna milk that shit. Then they converge, but by then you have observed them enough. Whereas now it feels like, oh, this character, that's the origin story. That character, that's the origin story. This character, that's the origin story. And now, just put it together and create some fucking like peanut butter and just eat it. Some plot peanut butter. I don't know. And you know what? If at least it culminated into like half a season of introductions and then the next half of the season is like literal fighting, I would have been okay. I would be like, oh, okay, yeah, we wasted some time like getting to know the characters, which is fine. Or spent some time, I should say, not wasted. Another fighting and it's really cool and there's like colors everywhere and all that. It'd be pretty cool, okay. But no, it's like 50,000 years of talking and then one minute intro of a video clip and then like 10 seconds of fighting. Boom, done. Next episode, job done. Good fucking riddance, I guess. So the too many plot lines at once advancing and then others starting in the middle of them, like all of that fucking spaghetti is just something that I don't like, genuinely. I've many times before said, some people enjoy this complexity, but I don't. I like my stories to have like a start, a middle, and an end. And that's the story of something specific and not 50 things at once. I'm not trying to watch a documentary on fucking World War II where you're observing like every side of everything and you're like, oh, but on this date, No, it's Arcane, dude. It's just like, just do your job. I don't fucking care. Just get over with it, just get over yourselves. It's, it's Arcane. Just show me cool shit, you know? Let's go. And that's coming from someone who, even though, again, I enjoy simple stories with beginning, starts, and end, I also enjoy complexity. It's not like I don't. But if you're gonna have complexity, then you have to drop a lot of other things. You can't just have everything in there, you know? You can't have like deep philosophical wanderings between Victor and Jace, which they weren't even deep, but I'm just saying, you know, just to contraposition it, okay? Not that I find them extremely deep. And then go like, oh, here is a tiny fluffy professor who does weird shit in event and also makes bubble machines and randomly receives visions that tells him to just tell people not to do stuff. Like, what? Like, fuck off. Like, for real, fuck off. Like, way too much stuff, way too fast. I didn't give a shit about them. And they didn't feel like they concluded either. Because they cannot conclude, because if they conclude, you can't have League of Legends. And that's something I want to talk about afterwards. Anyway, so yeah, too many plot lines at once is a complaint of mine. So yeah. Next one. The pacing. The pacing is bad. I think that's my opinion. I find it bad because of what I just described with the plot lines and flashbacks and origin stories. And at one point I was like, what are you trying to do? Where does it peak? Where does it ebb? Where does it flow? Where is the lull? Where is the storm? It's, yeah, the answer to all of that is yes at the same time. And also no at the same time. And like interrupting fight scenes all the time. Fight scenes start like video clips. It's too short fight scenes, but then way too long ones for people who we don't care about, and situations that feel completely just, you know, non-point. I don't even know. Like, especially that one scene where like Jinx does the whole, I was cringing so hard, dude, where she does the whole thing where she grabs like V and she grabs Silco and whoever the fuck the other girl names is, you know, the one from the rich family, and puts them in that like decadent dinner table, and she goes all Joker, literally ripped off from fucking Telltale's Batman, the ending. Like, literally scene for scene, like dialogue for dialogue almost, I could say. Like, I was cringing so hard. The way they're trying to sell Jinx is, to me, inexcusable. Like, they're doing the character a disservice, because she could carry on her own if they try to make her more distinct. But she is not distinct. She is literally Joker and Batman in one, and I'll get to that. But let's stay focused. So yeah, so that scene was all over the place. Why did it happen when it happened? I don't fucking know. It's honestly, the pacing is like, I was trying to enjoy it. I was like, okay, all right, okay, you got it. No, oh come on. That's what I was feeling all the time. So yeah, and then they would throw a flashback, and then they would throw an origin story, and then they would throw a fight that I know that that is very predictable how it's gonna go, because again, these characters just can't die, and it's like, I can't, I couldn't, I'm sorry. Like, the pacing is bad. It broke my immersion at times. I was so vibing with the fight between like Vi and like the other one-armed lady, like Silco's bodyguard, and it gets. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a cool fight, but like, I didn't even realize how we got there, where you just see Vi like going for it, and you're like, huh? But then they start fighting. You go like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool, and I feel like, even though I enjoyed it, I felt like, are you trying to bribe my brain with cool visuals? And yes, they are. That's because the pace is shit. So they have to fucking try to keep you there. Unless, of course, you know, you're a dedicated fan and you don't take no for an answer and you consider it a masterpiece. In that case, of course, you're not going to find an issue. But for me, as a casual observer, I was like, okay, let me follow this plot line with Victor. Oh, no, you can't. Let's go back to V. Okay, let me focus on V. And so what is V doing? Nope, Jinx. Okay, I'll try to focus on... Nope. Here is a scene with the council talking nonsense. Okay, let me try to get into the... Nope. Like, that's how it felt. For real. It's just not good to me. I think they were trying to do it like Game of Thrones tried to do it. Except it works in Game of Thrones. Like, you can hate Game of Thrones as much as you want. But for how many fucking plot lines they were spinning, how many threads there were to follow, they were doing a good job. Up until, you know, that accident with season 8. Anyway, but for the most part, they did a good job. This is not doing a good job. So, pacing horrible. Delete that point. Let's move on. Too many flashback scenes, I say. I've already mentioned that. Too many origin stories and too many flashbacks. I just couldn't take it from a point on. I was like tired. I was like, I don't fucking care. I just leave me alone. Let me watch what is happening now. Let me watch what the fuck is happening now. Let me get immersed. I don't need to know the backstory of every fucking tree branch, okay? And every character who doesn't matter in the end. And the show itself treats those characters as like they don't matter anyway. Because of how shallow they wrote them, so obviously they don't matter to them. And that includes Jinx, by the way. Okay, which I don't know if you expected me to say that, but they're, honestly, they write here in a way that like it shows that like they didn't fucking think, they didn't spend like 1 minute thinking about it. They just said, okay, what's gonna be cool? Okay, make here a little bit of Batman, just like a fucking ninja of the darkness. And also like Joker, because Joker is cool and people liked Harley Quinn for a while. And also like, yeah, just make her laugh maniacally and spin her minigun, and that's it. People are gonna fucking eat that shit up. And you know what? You ate that shit up. You fucking monkeys. But no, they did her a disservice as a character. They didn't even try. It's like, literally, she's the Joker. She's literally the Joker. She's literally the Joker. Like, every line, everything. She's literally the fucking Joker. It was unbearable. Can't you do something original with your own characters? She's a cool character. Do something. Have her own kind of crazy. It doesn't have to be like fucking Jared Leto's Joker. Okay? Because that's what she was. And that is like... I can't. And you're gonna tell me how can you tell that? Because Jared Leto's Joker got like, what, 10 minutes of screen time? You know? Yes, that's the point. That's how shallow she is. Literally, that's how shallow she is. Rip Jinx. Anyway, not that I'm a fan of Jinx, by the way. I fucking hate her. But they did her dirty. And you think that they did her right because she's flashy, and you get those cool fucking demon drawings and whatever, and your fucking monkey brain filled with energy drinks is going like, woo, colors and edgy faces, and you're like losing your shit, dude. Just focus on what they're showing you. What they're showing you is just trite bullshit, and they're just not using their characters correctly at all. They have nothing unique. They're just fucking Jared Leto's Joker over there. Anyway, too bad, Rip Jinx. The same for that mad scientist dude. Listen, that mad scientist dude, so much potential there, and all they do is like, oh, I'm a mad scientist. I sometimes help the bad guy because I'm also a bad guy. Ooh, spooky, and I wear a mask, and that's my personality. Yoo-hoo, we made it, guys. We wrote a character, we did the thing. Why couldn't he be something like a far better written relationship between Anakin and Palpatine? That's what I was expecting with Victor and that guy. Never happened. It's just a creepy old dude with a mask going like, oh, yeah, I do experiments and shit. That's my whole gimmick. I stay in a lab all the time and I go like, yeah, unethical experiments. We don't even know what the guy's doing. What is he doing? He's just staying in his lab going like, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's it. Waste of a character. Why not, like, you know... Anyway, back to the point. Too many flashback scenes, right? Yeah, it got tiring after the midpoint of season one. I was so tired. I was so fucking tired of flashbacks and origin stories. I was like, nobody fucking cares. Those who do care already know because they're the ones playing the game. Those who don't care, they don't want to know. They just want to see the action and be sold Arcane, League of Legends, and then go in the game and be like, "Yeah, that was cool. Let me try to do that with this character and learn how to play and fucking enjoy the game." What's with the fucking origin stories? Like you're presenting some kind of fucking, I don't know, masterpiece of literature. Like you don't need to. We should have a flashback to us watching the flashbacks to underline our character motivation. Yes, yes. If right now, if I do a flashback montage of me and Neris watching the flashback of characters, I could have a 1 hour movie. That is in fucking excusable. Probably a 2 hour movie, by the way. That's inexcusable considering each episode minus the intro is about 35 minutes. You can, and with bad pacing, you can imagine like how bad that can get. Anyway, too many flashback and origin stories. Point taken, removing it. You know which show did some of its flashbacks alright? Blue-Eyed Samurai did that. Those were meaningful flashbacks at meaningful points. And they offered information that actually played a role. Because other than Jinx getting angry and V getting angry and them breaking up or whatever, and like, you know, V kind of like leaving Jinx there, or Powder if you will, that wasn't a flashback though, you know, that told something, but that wasn't a flashback, which proves the point that you don't need flashbacks, just show the damn story. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Let me find something that is like, I'm trying to go from like the tip of the iceberg all the way to the abyss, even though it's not like an iceberg video, obviously. That's like, I'm trying to have a hierarchy of like the most generic complaints and then going into the most specific. That's what I'm trying to do here, okay? So another one that feels is like that is that obviously there is messaging in this, okay? They are trying to send a message with this, okay? Which message is very simple. Two very simple things actually, so far that I've seen. The first one is don't do drugs, all right? Which, okay, I agree, obviously. And the other one is that like basically, you know, the establishment is corrupt. Yeah, I agree. Those are, you know, those are good cautionary tales. However, they are so on the nose. They are so on the nose that like it's like it's not letting you detect it. It goes like in your face. Take that. Look at these fucking the drag guy betrays V in that scene because he needs his dose, and but like, you know, V and the other blue hair girl are nice to him, but he still betrays them. Why? Because drugs. Am I watching a G.I. Joe fucking PSA? You know what G.I. Joe PSAs are? Have you ever watched an episode of like the 80s G.I. Joe show where they would close the episode with like, remember kids, you shouldn't do drugs because look at this person, he's decrepit and mutated from too much coke. That that level of fucking, like, it's like they're addressing fucking 10-year, maybe they are addressing 10-year-old, because I don't know, like, I have this fleeting suspicion that the target audience of League of Legends is literally 20 years being the oldest. Like, literally being 20 on that target audience is like being an ancient lich. You're already like decaying. Your flesh is falling off as you're clicking buttons. That's how that target audience views itself. So that's what they're targeting, meaning that any message has to be that fucking shoved in your face, you know? So if this is intended to not be watched by 10-year-olds, um, then these messages are ridiculously on the nose. Like, dude, can you just assume when you're making your show, can you just assume? I know it's not the case often, but can you just assume, pretend, that the average IQ of the world is like at least above room temperature? Can you do that? Because those of us who do have above room temperature IQ are kind of like unable to enjoy your shit when your shit is like, remember, kids, don't do drugs. Um, and the problem with the other message with the establishment is that they present the establishment to be completely incompetent. They are that high council of morons. All of them should be fucking nominees for the awards of like most stupid politicians and rulers I've ever seen in any movie. Like, these guys are inept and incompetent on a level where I don't even know what to tell you. Like, Jesus Christ. It's insane. And that's part of this problem. Like, these messages are way too loud, and for them to be loud, some things need to break somewhere. And in this case, what breaks is that this ruling body is unrealistic to the point of who would even vote for them? Who put them in power? Who fucking... I would like to see that story. How you get a bunch of complete morons at a place of ruling, and not people like Victor or people like Jace, you know? How do you end up like that? For real, what kind of stupid decisions led to that? Or that fluffy professor, like that, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, I think there is a scene where I was laughing internally, where that fluffy professor guy tells Jace, I think, or Victor, I think it was Victor, maybe Jace, I don't even remember. They're in front of a statue that is dedicated to like a completely failed guy. And the professor goes, you see this guy? Well, this guy failed at everything, yet he kept trying. Now he has a statue. Dude, if you're a complete idiot and you keep trying, you're still gonna keep failing. Like, the fact that you tried 1 billion times in a vacuum shows patience, but the end result is still that you did try 1 billion times and you didn't fucking make it even on the 1 billionth time. You're a complete fucking mess. Dude, you're a loser. And these guys made a statue of that loser in the ruling chambers. Okay? That's their fucking idols that they're following. Of course you should be anti-establishment if you see like such incompetent assholes. Who voted that guy who later on, ate a rock to the knee and became like, I don't know, bound to a wheelchair? Who voted for him? He was such an asshole. Who voted for that guy? What a fucking warmongering asshole. Of course anti-establishment is, yeah, of course, because like when you're ruled by idiots, yes, definitely. But being anti-establishment just for the sake of it is nonsense. You're just purposeless. You're just doing nothing. So they needed them to be incompetent to deliver that message, and that makes no sense. Anyway, the messages are too much on the nose. I didn't like that. It was jarring to me, honestly. Which also led, as a side note about this, it also led into the situation where you would have like certain, I don't want to say archetypes, stereotypes, introduced in there to make this whole messaging thing work. Like, for example, the whole nature thing, right? They have like that black kid, I don't remember his name, with a white marking on his face. That character is a complete stereotype. I'm sorry, it's a complete stereotype. They have the tree there. They have like come on, dude. I'm not gonna go into it because I don't want to appear like I'm racist or bigot, because I'm not. It's just the character is literally a caricature, and he has to serve a function. He has to be such a caricature, because if he isn't, you can't deliver the message so easily that like, yeah, take care of that small little flower in the urban like hellscape, and let it, come on, dude. Come the fuck on. Come on! I'm not 12, okay? That character becomes even more obnoxious if you know him from the game. Yeah, but I'm examining this without knowing the character or the game. So, but I'll take your input on that one. I don't know why you're saying that. Maybe you want to back it up, I guess. Just because of the forced foreshadowing every time he's on screen. What is the forced foreshadowing? Does he become like a fucking druid or something in the game? Is he a druid? A skateboard riding druid? You notice how everywhere there's a clock? I didn't notice. I didn't give a fuck. That's why. But thank you for telling me. All right. What about it? Good catch, by the way. I didn't even notice that. I was too focused trying to not notice things. It's because he has time powers in the game. Okay. Alright, but why is it obnoxious though? Because that could be a reference to his powers in the game, I guess. Why would you say it's obnoxious? I'm not criticizing you for saying it. I'm just like curious. Because it's almost every time he's on screen. I get it. You know what? I was about to not agree, but like, yeah, if it's every time, it's like, yeah, look at it. It's gonna take fucking time powers. Anyway, that is all a parenthesis because that is like Neris' observation and not mine. I honestly didn't give a fuck about that character. Even the fight scene against Jinx, they reference it. Oh, I wouldn't be able to catch it. I wouldn't be able to catch it because I don't play League of Legends. Not that there is anything wrong with playing League of Legends, okay? I'm not saying that, you fucking morons. Go on. Hey Kaori, what's up? Don't tell me you're ready. Don't tell me you're ready from this early. Otherwise I'm gonna have to cut this in half and we go Baldur's. You got 2 hours at the moment? Well, yeah, but 2 hours, wait. 2 hours as a total for today? Or 2 hours if we were to start now and then you'd have to stop for a bit? Define your time schedule. Explain to me the intricacies of your schedule so I can arrange whether or not I should pause here and make this like a 2 or 3 part video. Or discussion, I guess. Two hours now, we'll be away for 3 hours, then we'll have 2 hours again. Then may need to disappear. Oh, so it's broken up, huh? Okay, so listen. Since I can't... it sucks a bit. It does. Let me think about that. Would you by any chance be free tomorrow? Will you be more free tomorrow by any chance? That's my first question. That's my trump card. I have another trump card, but I will play it after you answer. Because I'm gonna say that most likely we should take it. And what's gonna happen is we'll play 2 hours, then I'll play with Neris for a couple of hours, and then you'll be back and we will play another 2 hours again. I'm feeling that, but I want to make sure that we don't have a better option which is like more condensed, not condensed, but like coherent. Because I vibe with that. I just want to see if we have something better. Because fortunately for this particular conversation I'm having about Arcane, or monologue I'm having about Arcane, I have kept notes. So I can very easily just stop here, because I've deleted the points I've talked about, right? And so I can easily just stop here, and I won't lose track of what I was saying. Friday, you say? Friday for 5 to 7 hours. Are you willing? Is Neris willing? Friday, 5 to 7 hours special Baldur's Gate stream? Instead of today, with like breaks? Five to 7 hours, that's like nice. Let's see what Neris has to say. Friday works? Dude, if you give me uninterrupted 5 to 7 hours Baldur's on Friday, we're doing it on Friday special stream instead of Monday. For sure. If you're giving me up to 7 hours on Friday, I'm taking it. Can you two commit? I'm even gonna bully you by saying that, like, can you push for 7? For real, can you push for 7? Like, can we go ham? I might even order pizza or something and like just, just chill like 7 hours, the three of us just talking shit and playing Baldur's. Can you commit to that? Like 6 hours, 7 hours? You can? Okay, Neris, can you? Damn, alright, gentlemen. It seems we have a battle plan. Alright, so then we're moving the Baldur's Gate 3 stream. It's gonna be Friday. It's gonna be Friday. The pact has been sealed. And how this is going to play out is very simple. Kaori will message us, I'm ready. And then we start. Then I'll start the stream immediately on Friday. It's gonna be a bonus stream. It's gonna be a bonus stream for sure. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna replace any stream. It's gonna be a bonus stream. A Friday stream, a standalone Friday stream to make up for like all the lost time from Baldur's. It's worth it. I feel like it's worth it. Normally I wouldn't do it because on Friday is a ripe day for raiding and other group stuff on Guild Wars, but I'm willing to just sacrifice it for this. We might even finish the game, yeah, for sure. I would love that. I would love to fucking do that in one sitting, So are we all agreed? If we're agreed, then on Friday, Kaori will message us, and the moment I receive that message, we go. That's it. Spit on it. That's it. All three of us agree. Spit on it. All right, we got it then. So then to Pathui. All right then. So to everyone watching, I know you're probably hyped. I know we've set you back from your like Baldur's Gate 3 fucking opulent streams. But Friday. It's Friday. We're gonna treat you to like a 7-hour stream or something. It's gonna be fun as fuck. It's an extra stream. I'm not gonna cancel my tomorrow stream or anything. It's an extra. But yeah, it's not gonna happen today. It's happening on Friday. Suck it. Deal with it. It's happening on Friday. It's much better, and it's an extra stream. I'm doing it that way. All right. So that also means I can go on with what I was saying then after this intermission. And And you will excuse me also, Kaori, for moving it because I would like for it to be more consistent. That's why, like more coherent. Otherwise, I would have picked today. I was ready to pick today until you said 5 to 7 hours uninterrupted. Like that got me. I'm sorry, that fucking got me. But I was ready to commit to today as well. No worries. Okay, yeah, yeah. It's mostly that like it's mostly that I wasn't expecting, and probably you also weren't expecting that you will have to take a break in between, and such a long break. If it was like 1 hour, fine. Even 2 hours, okay. But like 3 hours plus, nope. Better to put it on Friday and like produce a more consistent, potentially more fun stream because like 7 hours we get to chill. You get to stream with me essentially. It's gonna be fun, gonna like order something, have some pizza, turn my camera on, like, do all that shit, maybe have a drink or two, shit like that. Make it a thing. It's Friday. Alright, so it's settled then. Get some drinks ready, Kaori. I know that Neris doesn't drink that much, but you get some drinks ready. It's gonna be an interesting stream. It's gonna be one of those interesting streams. Alright. You had a drink here and there recently, I see how it is. Don't worry. Don't worry, we're gonna drink off each other's mouth. It's gonna be fun. And my mouth can take a lot of fluids in it. You're not gonna be thirsty. I need coffee to continue this discussion about Arcane though. So you're gonna give me 5 while you wash away that image from your head, or while you're embracing it, to put it, politely. But I'm gonna leave you with that image, and I'm gonna be back in like 5. I gotta get some coffee. Like I'm fucking dying. This conversation is gonna be a long one probably. So yeah, give me 5. I'll be right back. That was the song, by the way. Okay, that was the song that you were listening to. Credit where it's due. It's of course like White Bat Audio. I had this ready, but it's gonna be for Friday now. Okay, that's gonna be my intro song on Friday. That said, move that out of the way. Get out. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, and now for real. 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Where's my list of fucking points to trash talk Arcane about? There we go. Uh, all right, so we talked about that stuff. Let's see. Another major generic complaint that is like more of a like blanket complaint. Let me see here. I want to make sure that I'm actually burning away all the major ones. Right, so I'm not gonna say, I was gonna say I'm gonna cancel one of my points. Which point was that it contains way too much fan service. However, I'm gonna cancel that because Arcane itself is literally fan service. It is like literally that's the point of it, and you cannot convince me otherwise. It's a marketing trick, but a very elaborate one. I said it in a way that is like way too conspiracy theory kind of, but no, it's really just like it's meant to be fan service. So I cannot criticize it for being what it is. Now, whether or not that makes it a little bit more inaccessible to other people is a different matter. I don't think it does. So that point is highly debatable. So I'm not gonna I'm gonna remove it. Too much fan service is a point that I'm not gonna make, and so that's gone. I'm trying to be fair, you see. But anyway, another problem I had, which has to do with the fact that it feels like a hodgepodge of styles and a hodgepodge of a complete salad of themes and elements. Inescapably, the tech levels presented, and I know that's like a more general complaint, let's say, a more general critique, but it's also at the same time subjective to me, right? I like some coherence to power levels and tech levels. Some, not complete coherence, because for example 40k as well, which I'm a fan of, isn't really that coherent with technology, but we have to consider the scale there. And in Arcane's small scale, that much gap between technology levels is a little bit, not a little bit, it's jarring, is what I'm gonna say. And that's because they're trying to please everyone. It's trying to be everything. It's trying to cover cyberpunk, it's trying to cover steampunk, all the other stuff that I said earlier. So a byproduct of that is that as a personal pet peeve of mine, other people might be okay with it, but I'm not. The tech levels are way too varied for the scale of Arcane, which leads to situations where a lot of things felt like ass pull. Like, this device does whatever the fuck the plot needs it to do. This kind of magic, this kind of ammunition, this kind of weapon, they all do whatever the fuck the plot demands them to do. They have absolutely cool animations and cool fight scenes and all that, but everything that they use is just a literal ass pull at this point. I'm aware that Jinx is supposed to be a genius, whatever, and preparing her stuff. Yeah, I get that. She's Batman. I get it. She's Batman and Joker. I get it. That's the whole thing. Okay, fine. I'm gonna accept that. At the same time, even Jinx's weapons and abilities seem to do whatever the plot demands them to do for it to progress. And at this point, it just becomes honestly very jarring and inconsistent. And so, yeah, that's a criticism I'm gonna level on Arcane. If you don't have a good magic system, if you don't have an established one with rules, right? That's what I mean when I say good. Then you can just expect it to be like the Force, where it can just do whatever it's needed to do for the plot to progress. Force Skype calls, Force goes, Force this, Force that, Force everything. you get it, right? So I'm gonna say that their tech and magic systems that they seem to be using for Arcane. Okay, again, I'm not criticizing League of Legends. I have no fucking idea about the game. But what I see in Arcane is like, okay, what does it matter what something looks like, or it doesn't matter because it's gonna do exactly what it needs to do, and that's it. And you're not supposed to care about that. A bit mature, in my opinion, but like very just badly written, in my opinion. So that's a major point that like kind of envelops the whole thing because, of course, magic and tech are at the epicenter of what's happening as well. So you can't really just ignore it. And there are more nuances to it than just saying, oh, it's all over the place. But I'll talk about it when we get to the power level discussion, which is not going to be a long discussion, but like, yeah, it's a point I made. But yeah, so tech level is just all over the place, just does what the plot wants it to do. Also doesn't do something that we see do before, just because otherwise the plot wouldn't progress the way they want it. And there are examples of that, like for example with Jinx's explosives, and the varying powers of the of whatever the fuck those blue crystals are, and what they can do with weapons and all that. Like it's like, oh look, this hammer is firing a laser. In another scene, this hammer fires a laser that is like far more potent. But that laser is the same laser that like Jinx is using for her missile launcher, which was way more potent. So just how potent is it? And like where is all that shit like communicated to us? Like, is it because the character is angry now the explosions are bigger? But then they are also smaller because the council must not completely die and Jace must escape. So now the explosion is also completely larger but also smaller. Like, I'm gonna talk about it more in detail, but like for me, tech levels are completely all over the place, and magic levels, and so that is like completely throwing me off. And it makes me think that there are no stakes because whatever needs to happen will happen, and there is no point in like thinking, oh, this character doesn't have that weapon, or this character or this side doesn't have that technology. They do say like, oh, they have the shimmer and we have the arcane or whatever they call that shit. Yeah, but what's the like what is like, so because even shimmer just what is it even, what does it do then? And what is like the blue magic, what does that do? Like, we don't know, and we don't care. It is just like pretty colors. Look at those pretty colors. Get distracted, bitch. Pretty colors. Yeah, count me in. I'm 12 years old. I'm a 17 years old gamer. I thrive on energy drinks. Show me neon purple and neon pink and like neon cyan, and we're Gucci, bro. And exactly that's another like criticism that I wanted to have said here, which is basically. This criticism that I have is it has to do more with the visuals, which, listen, I'm a fucking whore for purple, neon pink, and neon cyan and all that, and cyberish, whatever is. I'm a whore for that, honestly. I mean, you can see my fucking desktop, right? And you see how I dress my characters and, what kind of colors I pick and all that shit. I'm edgy as fuck sometimes. Don't get me wrong, but like, it is too much. There is a point where it becomes like way too much. And how you use it is also very essential to it not being cheesy. And the way they use it in Arcane, like this color palette, the way they use it is like literally, I imagine them having a meeting and going, hey, kids these days, they love neon pink and neon cyan. And then another guy saying, okay, paint everything in purple, cyan, and pink, and that's, and they call it a day. Like, they're cool colors, don't get me wrong, they're cool colors, okay? And they are very much intertwined with recent generations, and also with certain, for example, LGBTQ has very much, and and femboys have very much embraced these colors as well. So yeah, I guess somebody thought on the The design team, they thought like, hey, this is the color of this generation, put it everywhere. That's not how colors work. You don't just pick it because right now it's cool and you just slap it all over the place carelessly. You have to have other colors as well that are prominent. But for example, Arcane is literally just very basic in its coloration. It's like the upper city is gold and marble and shiny. The lower city is like green and black. The good guys have blue lasers, and the bad guys have purple lasers. And that's it. Again, it makes it like extremely childish, and it kind of limits the designs they can go for. Everything else except the protagonist is muted, like the protagonists. Sorry, if you didn't hear the S there, it was plural. Is very muted in colors. Like you can see the uniforms of the officers are this like navy blue thing that like barely stands out, especially in darker scenes. You can more or less tell which characters are supposed to catch your attention and which are supposed to be there. I don't know, I found it very basic. I'm sorry. It's very clear to me that it's like, yeah, this is the color of this generation, use it. That's the colors of our target audience, use them. That's it. I mean, yeah, you would, right? But at least put some effort in there. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't do that. It makes sense to do that. But can you at least do it in like a less pretentious, edgy teenager way? And a sloppy one. Like, can't you at least like use it sparingly so that it matters? Can't you do that? Because if you have too much of one factor, so if you have too much of the cool factor, then you have to make the things that are not supposed to be too cool, you have to make them way less cool because you're using way too much of the other stuff. Does that make sense? So the more prominent that the whole pink and purple and cyan are, the less prominent anything that isn't meant to be that color is. And again, it's like, yeah, it shows. I'm sorry, but it shows. So anyway, I'll just, go on. That point is made. We're moving on. What else? What else is generic? The dialogues. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the dialogues. As I note here. So I've taken a note saying dialogues are strange. People see visions sometimes and then tell other people what to do. As an example of why they feel strange. So yeah, the dialogues to me, and many times I told Neris that. Neris disagreed. I still hold that view. I know, of course, that a company like Riot, right, or the people who are making Arcane, okay, they have enough money, right? Let's not fucking kid ourselves. They have like enough money to establish their own country at this point. So, if they wanted, so I'm pretty sure they're not using AI to write some of the dialogue, right? That would be criminal, right? At this point, that would be petty at this point. To me, though, and I'm not saying that that's the case, but to me, some of the dialogue feels like it was written by AI. Because let's take, for example, the scene between the blue-haired girl and V. They're both at the mansion of that rich family, of the rich girl's family. They're there. Father goes, "What's she doing here?" Towards V, and V flees the scene, and the blue-haired girl, I think Caitlin. I want to say it's Caitlin, but I don't know the names. I'll call her Caitlin for now until I'm corrected. Follows V, and then they kind of like find each other, and they're kind of awkward, but they do hug, and then there's this weird dialogue where my brain just couldn't comprehend it. I was trying to make sense of it. I was like, are these real people talking? Because they were going like, yeah, your mother died. Yes, become an officer. No, I won't. You don't understand. Because you didn't lose parents. But I just lost a parent. Oh, damn it, you're thinking about it too much. And then the scene ends. And V leaves. Like, what? 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 Okay. I don't fucking know what to tell you. There are many instances like that, especially when Jinx talks. It feels like it's just pure edgy shit. I There is a scene where Jinx gets captured somehow, not captured, cornered against the wall by a gang. I don't even know what kind of gang that is. But anyway, a gang. And she's pushed against the wall, and she escapes. She fights off her whatever would be assailants, and there is this other little girl there. And then Jinx is, after dispatching all the enemies, Jinx goes like whoosh, whoosh, moving her gun around in front of the face of the child, and goes like, do you feel it behind your eyes? That feeling sometimes is there, I can't, like, my brain couldn't fucking hold the dialogue in there. I couldn't fucking hold it in. I was like, what is she saying? Like, for real, what are you talking about, woman? What the fuck? Anyway, I'll be right back. Give me a sec. And sorry if I sounded like sexist there. It had nothing to do with sexism when I said, like, what are you talking about, a woman? It was more to denote, like, what are you even saying? Like, you're crazy. Like, what are you talking about? And before you go, like, that's the point, Jinx is crazy. Yes and no. Because, for example, Joker is also pretty fucking crazy. Harley Quinn is also pretty fucking crazy, but they can make sense when they need to make sense. It's obvious that in that scene, Jinx is supposed to make some kind of deep remark, and it's supposed to make sense. She's not making sense because the dialogue quality is shit. It's just edgy bullshit. Like, I imagine what she was trying to say. She was trying to... My interpretation, okay? I could be wrong. Maybe she was referencing something from the game. I don't fucking know. But my interpretation was that she was talking about the rush of combat, the rush of violence, and how it empowers her, but also how it eats her up, you know? Or like that it's dangerous to play with that or something in some sort of scene that is meant to invoke sympathy towards Jinx because we see her understand that her violence is the dangerous thing. That's my interpretation of it. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Likely I'm overthinking it because if we go by what Jinx said in that moment, which I can't completely recall, she just goes like, something in my head goes wee wee, and that's like, that kind of whatever, and just the scene ends. What? Okay, it is like it had the same energy of some fucking Discord mod going like, you don't want to see me when I'm angry, kid. It's dangerous for you. Don't even try it at home. Only I can contain the anger. Like Like, I'm telling you, they did Jinx so dirty. Jinx, I'm gonna be real with you, okay? Jinx is a kind of archetype that I like. When done correctly, it can be used for drama, it can be used for comic relief, it can be used for action scenes. It's a good character. They fucking slaughtered her character completely. She's this drone who just chatters Joker lines. Or wannabe Joker lines, honestly, because Joker has some really fucking good lines in DC comics and stuff. Okay, and some really goofy ones, obviously. But she's this function of like, oh, Joker is cool and Harley Quinn is cool, and it's, seriously, talk about underutilizing a character, then also talk about throwing her, on the fucking train. What you call this? Like the what do you call train tracks? Whatever. My English is gone out the window, dude. But yeah, and these are just two examples I can think of. But there were more examples, like for instance the one that I am actually citing on my notes, where the fluffy professor enters the room, Professor Fluffy enters the room, and it's Victor and Jace there, and like the professor sees something because he's taken drugs, I don't even know, or remembers something, I don't give a fuck at this point, and we don't even understand what it is, and he goes like, oh, you should destroy this technology, it is really bad. Nobody asks why. Nobody asks what like, Professor, what did you remember? Like anything, dude. No, it's people just remembering shit and telling people not to do shit. It's like the same for V. She does that. Like, she remembers something and tells something to someone. I don't even remember who. And it's like, if you explained it, they would have listened. But you sound like a crazy person because you don't give context. We as the viewers have some kind of context. We can surmise that what the professor saw was evil, but the other characters, of course, react negatively because the plot demands it, so the writers don't give them a chance to question it and maybe agree, because the professor doesn't explain it. This is sloppy writing, this is just ridiculous. So that's why I have the sensation that, like, it gives me the sensation of it's written by fucking incompetence or AI. I'm gonna delete that point now and we're gonna move on to other stuff. I don't think there is a need to talk about how stereotypical the characters are. I think that's a byproduct of them being necessary archetypes in a game, okay, as toolkits. However, that doesn't translate well in movies, as you may have noticed from like watching, many attempts at bringing video game movies into the big screen. The characters just don't work. In comics, they barely work, like with some shiny exceptions, like for example, Deadpool. Okay? It doesn't work. So when you throw around so many characters that are supposed to be functions in a game, how are you gonna write them as actual characters and not fucking caricatures or stereotypes? It is extremely difficult, and as I've already discussed, I consider the team who wrote for Arcane to be completely incompetent, and therefore they completely botch it, and it shows because every character feels like a fucking stereotype. The tiny little funny fluffy professor, the typical like, Victor is very nice, but at the same time he's again just like this like, science should never be used for evil, and then you have Jace, who is like just a male Mary Sue kind of, not even Mary Sue, but like, wait, scratch that, not Mary Sue, he's literally a male Barbie doll. And then you have the rough mother, who comes in to police her daughter from the faraway land, like from Wakanda or whatever. And you can't, like, yeah, with writers like this, using characters like that, not good. They can't handle it, dude. Stereotypes and not stereotypes, archetypes can be done well. Even the simplest ones can be done well and can be used properly, and they are, I would argue, necessary in many cases. These writers, nope, they don't have the fucking, they don't have the energy to do that. Or the AI that they have does not have the energy to do that. I'm gonna stop with the AI joke. I'm pretty sure that it's not AI, obviously, but I'm also pretty sure these guys are fucking incompetent. Anyway. And I mean, to be fair to them, consider the material they have to work with. Characters from a video game. End of story. It's a wonder. On one hand, yeah, they may be competent. On the other hand, it's a wonder they did so much with as little as they had. So yeah. Let's move on. Like more generic stuff. Here's a favorite of mine. The geography makes no sense. Is the Undercity under the city? Is it across the city? Is it across and under the city? Is it in the fucking warp at this point? Right? Because if we watch through all of season 1, Undercity seems to be outside city, but it's supposed to be, and people talk about it as if it's below the upper city. Ergo the name fissure, right? The fissures, yeah, because it's a fissure on the ground on which the other city, on top of which the city is built. So is that city outside, inside, under, or above? I don't know if I can understand, because they seem to be able to access it from a level bridge, but they also are accessing it from an elevator that goes way down into the ground. But then you see the Undercity having an atmosphere. They have sunlight. Do they have a second sun down there? What's going on? And the same, and I think it's a general like problem with the series. Unless I'm fucking stupid and I'm wrong, but you'll tell me if I'm wrong. I hope, because I can't find any error in this, because I rewatched it, and the geography doesn't make sense. Like, this is not how reality works. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Fuck's sake, I forgot. Yeah, distances don't seem to make sense. Like, this whole city seems to obey its own rules of like space-time, because you see characters being in one scene which takes place in a place where they would no way be able to reach in time for that scene to play out, or for them to be part of, considering where they were shown before, like right before. And it becomes extremely jarring after a while, to the point where, okay, technology does whatever the fuck it wants to do, magic does whatever the fuck it wants to do, nobody explains nothing, everyone is exactly where the plot needs them to be, exactly at the time they need to be. Especially Jinx is literally fucking Batman at this point, just pops up anywhere and is everywhere like a fucking goddess of space-time. Like, these guys don't have any limitation. Like, Goku all over, man. Just instant transmissioning themselves into scenes. So, and again, like, this just goes to show my point that, like, the geography doesn't make sense. The geography doesn't make sense. You see them dropping pink mutants. I'm gonna talk about that scene, because that scene is complete incompetence. All of it, from start to finish, is the most stupid thing I've ever seen in my life in a show. But let's focus on a small part of it. So you're telling me the guys from the Undercity managed to go all the way to the upper city, launch air balloons, take them above the upper city, and from there launch pink muties into the area where they were having a... The logistics of that are a complete nightmare. The logistics of that, considering the time frame given and like the prep time required, are a complete and absolute nightmare to me. My brain was like, how? How do you manage this with the Titan security? With the, like, I'm gonna talk about that scene in general, but I'll go back to my point that, like, geography doesn't seem to make sense. Like, not geography. How do you call this? Like, what do you call that shit? Where like the place doesn't make sense with the distances and everything. How do you call that? Basically, it warps reality. The same way everything in this fucking series warps reality to make it do whatever the fuck it needs to do for the next scene. So I'm done with this point. But especially the fucking Undercity is at least 3 different types of city. It's Undercity, above city, mid city, and also across city, and outside and inside city. Like it is whatever the fuck you want it to be at this point. It's clearly meant to be under. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking get it. It even has its own sun. So where is it exactly? Anyway, maybe the sun is magical. I mean, everything at this point can be just excused by saying it's magical. So who the fuck knows? Maybe they have an artificial sun down there. I don't know, which I don't know about because I was never told about it. But being shown and not told means that I'm gonna criticize it. I'm sorry. Because it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, let's go on. I deleted that point, we're done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So this is gonna hurt. I almost wanted to delete that fucking point. I just consider deleting it right now. However, I'm not gonna delete it because it's both a compliment and a complaint. So it's about the quality of the fight scenes. So the fight scenes go fucking hard. Not their intro sequences; those suck. And this is where it's a double-edged sword. The intro sequences for certain fights are so fucking bad. Especially, for example, the black kid tries to fight Jinx right on the bridge. I say black kid just because I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. Honestly, I'm just not sorry. I can say that, it's not racist. Jesus Christ. I just don't remember the guy's name. So the black kid tries to fight Jinx on the bridge. Before the fight, there is this weird sequence. And that sequence is so bad that, have you seen the Naruto versus Pain fight? Like the famous one where, like, for some reason the animation just goes from 100 to like Tom and Jerry fucking cartoon levels. Have you seen that? Have you watched that scene? It's so famous, you can find it on fucking YouTube. It baffled everyone as a style choice or as anything basically. Nobody fucking knows why that thing happened the way it happened. It was so fucking weird, and everybody was clowning on that. So that scene, compared to the intro sequences of some of the fights that I saw on Arcane, is a masterpiece. Suck on that. Not the fights themselves though. The fights themselves, and this is the compliment, are actually fucking hard. They go so hard that all I've been thinking all the time is like, why do they last for so little? Dude, it's Arcane. It's based on League of Legends. Show me League of Legends fighting. Show me some cool shit, bro. I'm gonna delete that comment because I made it. Not because I'm taking it back. And I need to move on. So, yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna, like, I don't know what to tell you about that. Like, the intro sequences weren't necessary, and Arcane fails to League of Legends is another point that I've made, which I'm gonna go into because they are actually related. So yeah, where the fuck is League of Legends, right? Where the fuck is the fighting, dude? Where the fuck is the bombastic fighting? Obviously they can pull it off because when there is like fighting for 10 seconds, it's fucking glorious. Well, where's the rest of it? Where is the fucking... Why do I have to suffer origin stories, but I'm not rewarded with equal amounts of like League of Legends action? I'm removing that point. I have nothing further to say about it. When I say removing it, is the physical removal of it from like my list, not actually taking it back, let's say, quote unquote. You know? So let's see, what other like more major things I have to say? Yeah, all right. It's relevant to something I said before with stereotypes. And it's a small pet peeve here that is more focused than the more general point that I said, but I feel maybe I should actually touch on that, right? And that is Jace. Jace being a lost puppy throughout the whole duration of Arcane, at least season 1 and at least season 2, the first quarter of it, the first third of it. Actually, the first third of it, mathematically. I'm not okay with that. And that's all I'm saying in my note is literally, I'm not okay with that. And you know what? That's my reaction even now. I'm not okay with that. Why is that man presented? And again, don't even start. I'm saying man because like it puts emphasis. That person, Jace, okay? Why is Jace presented like that? Listen, I don't know what Jace is. Is he a character? Is he not a character? I don't fucking know. Do I care? No, I don't. But you're presenting this person, and gender doesn't matter. It could have been a woman. I don't care. Or a trans person. I don't care. But this character, the character of Jace, why? He could have been so interesting. He could have been literal Commander Shepard. Okay? Literal Commander Shepard. He could have been very interesting with choices to face. And he keeps saying, choice, 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 choice hard, choice hard. Jace cannot decide. Choice hard. Help Jace. Like, bruh, why are you such a fucking pushover? Like, why? Why? And he's always shown to like to huddle on his girl's like lap and always go like, oh, protect me from the big mean world that I wasn't meant to steer. Like, oh, come on, dude. Listen, why are you so incompetent? And if you are so incompetent, why did people support you? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. He was just a scientist. He should have stayed a scientist. And if you say that's the point, that's not the point. That's not the point. He didn't stay a scientist because he was meant, you know, people saw some qualities in him. So, where are they? That's what I'm saying. Like, in universe, where are those? Like, then again, you're gonna, you know what? Then again, these people are the same people who built the statue of fucking cretin who kept failing after trying everything for 1 billion times, you know, to paraphrase. So, of course, they would pick Jace. But my problem is with presenting him that meek, that fucking pathetic. Really? Like, he is, okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna use a term here. He's so fucking pussy whipped. He's so pussy whipped that, like, why? You can, okay, so again, about archetypes, okay? Weak characters who have trouble with making decisions and, you know, stuff like that, they can be written well. But because Arcane is a show for morons, in my opinion, for people with like, I don't know, maybe 12, maybe 14, maybe there, they have to put it in your face. And so, the fact he's meek is literally pushed on your face, stamped on your face. Like, he is weak. Take that. Watch him suffer. Watch him fucking meow away. Like, it hurts me. It hurts me as much as watching what they did to Jinx. Not that, like, don't take me wrong. I'm not saying, oh, my Jinx, my favorite character. Like, I don't give a fuck about it. I don't even play the game. I don't care. But it's a waste of a character. Like, as an outsider, casual fucking viewer, like, why are you doing your character so dirty, dude? Like, do you hate them secretly? Like, are you completely uninspired? Like, are you incompetent? Or maybe all of the above? Damn, I don't know. But Jace being portrayed like that, not because he's Jace, like, it could be anyone. Portraying your characters like that, it's just... You don't understand like multi-dimensional characters if you're doing that. That's what I'm gonna say. If you don't understand multi-dimensional characters and character depth and development, you're gonna write characters like Jinx and Jace. That's what's gonna happen, as they are presented in Arcane (parentheses). So yeah. Moving on. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Oh god, we're starting to go into specific. Yeah, okay, no, here's something more generic. The overarching plot, the major plot lines, they are way too simple. They are way too simple. The major plot lines, okay? The everything has a backstory in the flashback. That's confusing. It's not deep. It's just confusing to me. Unpleasant to follow. It wasn't like I was confused, I didn't understand what I was seeing. It was more like my brain was just not interested in this shit because there were too many plot lines. But now talking about the main plot, it's way too simple. Honestly, it's way too simple. That would be okay. Let me fucking stress that. That would be okay. The problem comes from the fact that the characters themselves treat it like it's some kind of noir mystery. Some kind of like on the levels of like fucking, I don't know, Hitchcock or something. Like it's some kind of grand mystery that no one can fathom the depths of. You see it like, it was very jarring in that scene where Caitlin, again, that's how I'm calling the blue-haired girl, I don't remember her name, the rich girl. When she has this like collage of like pictures, and you know, she's doing the detective thing of connecting like lines to pins and like photographs and like names and that kind of thing, for something that literally takes like 10 seconds to figure out. And yes, I'm aware the problem was, or was said to be, because it shouldn't be a problem, by the way, that they know, which they didn't, by the way. Nobody stated that they didn't, that they did. Everyone pretended like they didn't know, so that makes it worse. But like they know now, let's say, that like the rich girl proved, you know, figured it, but they can't find proof for it. Listen, when something is obvious, do you know the meaning of the word obvious? It's like something is obvious. You don't need to elaborate on it. It's right there. It's like in front of you. So when the plot is so obvious, okay, what do you need to prove exactly? Like, prove what to whom? It is so clear that Silco is behind it. What do you need to prove? To whom? Who needs proof for that when it's like that obvious, and basically it is alluded that everybody already suspects it and knows it anyway, as stupid as they are, because yeah, they are very stupid again, especially the ruling body. What proof do you need that the guy is like down there in the under outside across city plotting and like you like it's there, dude, it's there, it's like literally there. You can see his henchmen, you can see like, bro, it's right there. Go get them. Like let's forgive the fact that this girl had to have like a whole detective moment to figure it. Okay, what kind of proof do you need? Like, bro, just go and arrest them. Like, seriously. Literally, just I don't get, like, the plot is just stupid, honestly. I'm sorry. The plot is so simple, is fine. And sorry for saying it's stupid, I didn't mean that. What I mean is like it's simple, but that is fine. But the fact that the characters treat it like, you know, and so in a way the writers are treating it like they wrote some kind of like Baldur's Gate level of fucking depth and complexity, it is to me baffling. Because through the characters, it is communicated that probably the writers think that they did a darn good job at a mystery. Fuck you. Fuck you, you know that? Fuck you. I will take a simple story, as long as you present it as that. And you don't pretend it's some kind of like masterpiece. Which again just baffles me, because people are calling it a masterpiece. Like, dude, you watch 3 episodes, you know what's happening. That's, you know it. Like, if you don't, you have issues. If you don't, you need to read some books or something. I don't know what to tell you. If you find the overarching plot, arching, oh my god, overarching, I'm gonna say overarching, because it's arch, so arching, right? Makes sense. So the overarching plot, like, if you can't figure it out within like 3 or 4 episodes, you're literally in need of help. Like, you need help. You should be watching My Little Pony, and that might confuse you. But I'm starting to think that Arcane, as I said before in this stream, is actually addressed to people who find My Little Pony confusing. Which, okay, I can respect that, whatever. But then don't pretend that you're so smart. You know, not the people that like the plot. You know, don't fucking pretend it's such a smart thing. It's okay. It's alright. Anyway. So, more generic stuff. there is something I will remove because it's a completely subjective take. I mean, everything is, but this one especially, where I say I was so bored that the episodes felt like they were like one and a half hour each. It's true, but that is like just a personal side note. This shouldn't be a point in a conversation like this. I'm deleting it. I will say though that yeah, all of the points that I'm making right now, yeah, in the end ended up like making me feel extremely bored. Uh, and it felt like the episodes were way too long just because there wasn't enough fun stuff. There was only like fun servicey stuff, but not really fun stuff. Where was the fighting? You know, so many backstories and so many fucking plot lines and so many flashbacks, and like I was bored at the end, dude. I was really fucking bored out of my mind. Anyway, another complaint which is like adjacent to the ones I've made, so that there is some kind of coherency. I write here a very simple thing. It's a saying. It's an expression, and the expression goes, all style, no substance. And it is relevant because of the simplicity of the plot and all the other stuff I've talked about so far. I'm not going to repeat them. But yeah, in the end, it left me. I guess that's like also. I will delete that because I feel it's like akin to saying I was bored, probably. It's probably a little bit more nuanced than saying I was bored. Because indeed, as I explained with the colors and all the other stuff, and all the fan service and all that, it's clear that they were worried about the style more than they were worried about anything else, like showing cool scenes, which they do during fights, not during intros to fights, mind you. But yeah, I'll delete it. Okay, you don't have to. We don't have to talk about it. That one is, I feel, just my observation. Is like too much style, too little substance. Yeah, okay, simple thing to say, I guess. To which I will also delete the next one. I'm just gonna like cancel myself on that one too. Like 3 out of 3 right now, maybe more. Where I say, but I'm gonna still tell you what I wrote down in the moment. I wrote down that it looks like a music clip or a trailer, and not an actual series. Because of how disjointed, inconsistent, and jarring it is, it feels like some cool band made a cool music trailer, and they just took like popular stuff that people like of this generation and made a cool song with it and a cool music video clip with it, and then that's what you're watching, like literally. But I think that is like included in what I'm saying, that like the style is all over and the pacing is all over, and there's like lots of mixed elements and lots of purple and cyan going on there just because for the sake of there being purple and cyan. And again, like you can see my fucking desktop, like who are you to talk? I can hear you saying, but yeah, there is a point where it's just, you're just doing it for the sake of doing it and not really because it serves a stylistic purpose or a choice that like you made for a purpose. So yeah, it does look like the whole series is like a huge fucking video clip or trailer material, like to look cool in the trailers, which is understandable because hey, the whole thing is a marketing tool for fucking League of Legends, so why criticize it if it's unashamedly that, right? The problem begins when you start realizing that again they're selling it as something intelligent and standalone and like as an actual series, but no, it's not, and that's what I have a problem. Like that's where the pretentiousness comes from. Yeah, I'm removing that point. I think I discussed it more than I should have. It pains me because every point I read, I have to remember what I watched, and that's painful for me. But at least I got some coffee and a cookie. Anyway, specific. Okay. Another one, which is that one I feel is worth mentioning because it's similar to the tech levels and magic levels complaint that I had. So I mentioned here that while the fight scenes are cool, and they are very, very cool, but also very few and very short, and also followed by like bullshit and preceded by bullshit. So cool fight scenes, but people's durability and stats seem to be all over the place depending on the plot again. So not only tech and magic, but also the peoples themselves seem to be like their abilities and like what knocks them out, what is dangerous to them, what can hurt them. So essentially things that set stakes are literally all over the place. Like these characters, in one scene they will be shown surviving like a nuclear explosion in the face, and in the other scene they have trouble like fending off like some street thugs. I don't fucking understand. You see these purple muties being such a huge threat, but then they get clowned on, and you can say that, okay, but this is like characters growing up in level, and it symbolizes the development of the characters in the game as you level up. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what it symbolizes. Did I see these characters actually earn their strengths? No. It's just that like in the next episode, these purple mutants are no longer a threat. In the first episode, one of them, a prototype, was enough to terrorize a whole city block. A real fucking threat, a menace. And then they just send them in like they're a fucking Foot Clan from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and everyone is just like clowning on them. And you're like, what are your stats? Or Jinx just gets knocked out, survives like her own, like, she survives her own grenade, which also means that why is that scene so dramatic then? If they're both gonna survive it, what's the point? And you know that they're both gonna survive it because they're characters in the game. What's the point? Seriously, what's the fucking point? There isn't. There's no point. And then she, again, like she gets bullied by street thugs. What? What are her power levels? Yes? Maybe? What is Jace's like? Where does everyone stand in this? Like, I don't understand. So because there is no reference point, there is no coherence, there is no like, there is also no stakes, because whatever the plot demands, that's what's gonna happen. I don't know. Caitlyn and her and V and everyone else had to use masks to be in that gas, but Jinx was fine in the gas. And she looked like she had difficulties, but so she was just fucking inhaling that shit like it was the copium that whoever said that Arcane is a masterpiece is inhaling the same fucking copium. So yeah, I made my point. It is very difficult for me to watch anything or read anything that doesn't respect some rule set, for follows some kind of logic. I don't care how logical the logic is. I don't care how it just needs to be some rules there, like, okay, so Jinx cannot withstand like this, or this gas is a nerve gas, or that gas will put you to sleep, that's why they're wearing masks. So things like that. Caitlyn is a really good shot. Jace isn't. So you can't have, for example, Jace. You get what I'm saying, right? You have to have some kind of established weaknesses, strengths. Seriously, tech, magic, and people, their power levels, their levels are all over the place in this, which makes it very difficult for me to care, especially when I know that like half of them are immune due to plot reasons because they're in the game. It's very difficult for me to care, honestly. But it's more difficult. It's difficult more because of this lack of like stakes. Because exactly everything does whatever everything wants, whenever everything wants, for whatever reason it wants as well. Because it's a whole mess. So yeah, that's like that then ties in very well with another point. that they have turned Jinx into this like immortal god of like space time. So basically, I don't know if you noticed it, and I would have the same complaint even if Jinx was written really well. I would have the same complaint, and that complaint is that like basically Jinx is a Mary Sue, in the sense that like she can't do no wrong, all right, but also she's the one progressing the plot. Like if she doesn't trigger certain points in the story, the plot has no way to progress, and that happens quite a few times. And it became annoying because it's like, bro, why is she so like so much weight to this character but not to Victor, whose story is so much more interesting? And there is like, not that Jinx's story couldn't have been interesting, but it wasn't. That's how the cookie crumbled, dude. They did her dirty. So in this context, like Victor has a far more interesting story, far more relatable, far more, it has the potential for like some like, questions, some like answers. So why is Jinx of all people carrying the whole thing on her back? Not in the sense that she's so good that she carries, but in the sense that like if Jinx isn't there to do the thing, then the story can't continue. And again, it happens enough times, maybe not too many times, but it happens enough times where you clearly see it. You're like, so if she wasn't there that moment, then none of this would have happened. And that's like so fucking annoying. And yes, you can disregard it and say, well, she was, deal with it. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same as saying, yeah, the show sucks, deal with it. I am dealing with it. I'm criticizing it. So I'm also criticizing Jinx just magically being there. She's just magically there. Yeah, it is implied, for example, that she followed them on the bridge. Yeah, of course, but like, can we see that? Can she stop being Batman, where like Batman is just everywhere? Like you commit anything that is like close to a crime, and you look up, and there's like this dark figure looming and looking at you. How the fuck did you get there? How are you everywhere? This kind of thing. Like, bro, is Jinx Batman? I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe she is at this point. I don't know. But she's also Joker, by the way. She's basically the Batman who laughs, who is such a fucking edgy shit character. I'm not gonna lie. So, so yeah, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that. Without Jinx, there just simply can't be Arcane. Like for real. There could be some of the more interesting stories, and I wish that was the case. But Arcane as it is, that wouldn't exist. So that to me is kind of like criminal, considering how badly Jinx is written, and and combined with the power scaling, and combined with like the tech and magic issues that I have, like all of this combined just makes it extremely unlikable to me, that she seems to have like this so much power over the plot that is completely unearned, unless we speculate that it is earned because she's like just that popular, because it's like literally just Batman and Joker combined, and Joker is so cool because he has mental illnesses, and that's like fetishized lately. Like, I don't fucking get it. In her own way, Jinx is a Mary Sue of the show. I'm sorry, but she is. In her own way, she is a Mary Sue, and I hate that, because it didn't have to be this way, and she would still be one hell of a character if she was handled properly. So yeah. Similar to that, a lot of the drama, because of how simple the plot is, and this ties in with what I said about, obviously the plot being simple, the overarching plot being simple, a lot of the drama feels fabricated and forced, I write. Yes. Yeah, because when you're trying to complicate something, you have this. Again, I actually praised the writers a little bit as well. I gave them the benefit of the doubt in saying that, like, with so little shit they had to work with and make something out of it, I'm impressed they even managed to make something like, like that. Not that it's good, but I'm impressed it's that good. But it's not really good. But it's still just impressive, because the source material is literally just like tunes on a map, blasting each other, while angry teens are yelling at each other and just like taunting each other, and that's your source material basically. So, and you have to make that popular. So yeah, I guess they're either geniuses or complete idiots at this point, like the writer. But I have to say, when you have such a simple fucking setup and you're writing again a story that is like, for all intents and purposes, it's just way too simple to follow. When you try to artificially complicate it, you will end up with drama that is just forced. Drama for the sake of drama. Like, for example, I mentioned the scene earlier where V and Caitlin, again referring to the rich blue-haired girl, they have this altercation anyway, whatever. But they don't really need to have it because that's not how people talk, especially when someone's parent is dead and they're supposed to be in love. Like, that's not how people talk, trust me. Which again, it also ties with what I said, that sometimes it feels like it's AI generated dialogue for no reason and it sounds like completely like outlandish and uncanny. And it also ties with the whole incompetence of the characters thing, just because they need to be simple, and how shallow they are because they need to be, because the whole thing feels like it's written for 10-year-old people. And so because of that, when you're trying to complicate it, because that's what they did, they're trying, you can see that some of the plot lines are there because the writers are trying to make it appear as if it's some kind of like big mystery. And the result of that is that you have like some really fucking forced situations, forced dialogues. Again, like for example, the drama with the fluffy professor. You see, everything that I've said kind of like ties together. And if you've been hearing from the start, you can understand like my issue with it more clearly the more I talk about it, right? Because everything just is a tiny piece of the puzzle, and the puzzle is an image of a word, and the word is like dog shit, which is my opinion of Arcane. But anyway, I'll put the rest of the pieces in there, and maybe you'll agree, and maybe not, but it's just my opinion, okay? Anyway, to go back to the matter, yeah, for example, the fluffy professor, as I was saying, he doesn't even explain to anyone. He just goes like, "Roar, magic, use you shall not." Like, okay, Yoda, like, what the fuck? What are you talking about, Yoda? What's up, dog? Like, seriously, like, just explain to them. Don't you have a mouth? Like, you can explain to them. It's gonna take like 5 minutes. Tell them, guys, I got a vision. It reminded me of like that time when like a weird black figure in fire caused something really bad, and I think it's related. You want to talk about it? Like, and then the others go like, "No, professor, we can't stop the progress." What progress, dude? You're just like, wait a minute, sit down and talk about it, like for 1 minute, for fuck's sake. There is no real pressure in that context. So a lot of the drama feels like that. It's like fabricated. It's like, what? I don't know. Like, why? Half of the times I was like figuring, why is this an issue? Like, why is this becoming such an issue? Like, can't they talk about it? Can't they, like, reason it a little bit? Like, maybe 1 minute, maybe, like, 10 seconds on screen? And it would have been solved, like, could have been avoided, dude. But no, it just needs to be there because there's no other way to progress the plot or complicate it enough for it to be a plot. And that's because there is no plot, because it's just like action figures fighting on a map at the end of the day. So, I'm gonna move forward with this, fuck it. Running out of points, which to some of you might be a relief actually. Holy shit. To me it's not a relief, because the farther we go, the more like specific my takes become. Hooey. Let's do this one. It's a very simple one. Oh, wait, no, before, I'll do another one. So I was told by Neris, and you can blame Neris for that because I'm not gonna watch it, so I'm going by his word, that there are time shenanigans, okay? That there is like some kind of time travel and shit, which has to do with Victor. I'm not gonna watch it because I physically cannot, because I feel like I'm bleeding brain cells. But anything with time travel for me gets a huge L plastered all over it. Like, fuck time travel. That's very subjective. Maybe you love it. I fucking hate it. So I wanted to get it out of the way. So there you go. If there is time travel in this, uh, there is more time badness. Like what? So like what? Speak, damn it. Yeah, the fact that there already is like time travel or whatever, or going back to the past, it's already a huge L for me. That shit can never be explained sufficiently. Echo ending up in an alternate timeline where V died instead of the others. Yeah, okay, nah. When we start talking about multiverses, everything can go fuck itself, honestly. And the fluffy doctor also ends up there. Okay, yeah, great. No, that's a huge L. Let's move on. Moving on. I don't want to know. I don't care about it, honestly. Whatever has time travel and like multiple universes can go fuck itself. Quite honestly, I never like that shit. I just instinctively don't enjoy that kind of shit. Shit, stuff, stiff. Yeah, that kind of stiff. I just don't enjoy that kind of stiff cock. So yeah, time travel. Huge L. Got nothing else to say. Nothing ever convincingly explains multiverses or convincingly explains time travel. Nothing ever does that. The only thing ever that gets a pass is Terminator 1 and 2. And fuck you if you don't think so. And even that has like shit time travel rules, like really shitty time travel rules, but whatever. It's so cool that it can be an exception, I guess. Everything else I've seen is kind of fucking shit, so yeah. The fact that time travel is stupid also is what defeats the big bad. Yeah, no, if you bring it that much in, then you're completely fucked. You're completely out of ideas and creativity. If you got a ass pool, oh, but he's from the future. Oh, he came from the past. Oh, fuck you for real. Fuck you. Just write. Be a competent writer. Fuck you and your time traveling. So I'm sorry, but yeah. And if you don't have a problem with it, I understand and respect it, and you probably don't have to pay attention to that point. But I personally hate time travel. So anyway, I wanted to put it out there that like to me that's a little bit of a cherry on the top. And the reason why I'm not gonna finish watching it because there's no point. The point at the point where time travel becomes a thing, I just think there's just no point to it. Like it's fine. Also, their father comes back as a werewolf. Yeah, why not? Yeah, obviously. Okay. Yeah, no, no, no. Time travel can go fuck itself. Time travel can just go fuck itself, honestly. Unless we invent it and then we have a firm grasp of how it works, I will refuse, like in real life, I will refuse to accept any of the explanations and rules because they make zero sense and it is just nonsensical. So, if and when we invent it, we discover it, it will have convincing rules and it will work a certain way, and then people can write it in their books. Until then, time travel is something that I just honestly feel points out to lack of like creativity, and it's usually used in situations where the writer can't write themselves out of a certain plot line or whatever, or out of a situation that they created which they then regret, and then they go like, oh, that is a different reality. Like, yeah, okay, no, man, have the balls to fucking own what you wrote, or don't write it. Don't write the death of a character so that you don't have to bring them back. Like, if you really love them, let's like think about it, have a drink, sleep on it for like 2 weeks, and then decide if you really want to do it, and then do it, and then stick to it, and that's it. Because stop with the fucking time travel, stop with the multiverses. I don't give a shit. Multiverses, yeah, multiverse, it can be more acceptable, but honestly, ideally, you don't want any of that shit in your writing or your like show or whatever. You just don't. Trust me. It's trust me. Who am I? Who am I to be trusted? But at the same time, like, hey, come on, dude. Time travel. Anyway, too much like focusing on that for now. Let's move on. So, more specific stuff. Um, Episode 6, there is a fight scene a bit past the middle of the episode where Jinx lights a flare. Yeah. On top of a water tower or something. It's to call V, because V had told her, here, take this, and whenever you need me, light it, and I will appear there. Spoilers, she appears there. How? No one knows. Maybe she's not even real, but apparently she is in the end. But so how did, how, when? Anyway, doesn't matter. As we already established, time and space are just a suggestion in this. Distances are a suggestion. Magic and tech also suggestion, like people also suggestion, so what does it matter? Moving on. So she lights her flare and the whole scene becomes a fucking musical fever dream where I was like, what am I seeing? I mean, I know what I'm seeing, edgy bullshit, but like, what? Like, this is so pace breaking. It's supposed to be this like grand moment. You know, good scenes don't need that much fanfare to work. Good dramatic scenes. Literally, if the characters and the drama was established properly, all they had to do was show Jinx lighting the flare. And then, just on her face, we could see the expressions and the struggle and the realizations, and then V coming and her happiness without any of the fever dream. You know why the fever dream is there? Because pink and fucking purple and cyan, let's go, woo! That's why. That's literally why. So that particular scene and other scenes like it are things that caused me to say earlier as a more general, like generic, like observation, that like this shit is just like, what does this? What you know? Impress the kids, dude. Like literally. My god, let's move on. Let's fucking move on. That scene made me want to fucking tear my eyes out for real. And it broke my fucking pacing because I was ready for a strong dramatic moment. I was like, okay, fucking Arcane, time to redeem yourself. Time to make me feel something for these two sisters. Make me feel it, damn it. No, here is a musical video clip because it's gonna make great trailer material. Blech. So, moving on. And again, I'm a fan of that shit. I love that shit. But it has to be in the right moment, the right time, and for the right reason. Show me that in a game. Show it to me in an action game. Show it to me in a fucking trailer, a music clip, whatever. What is it doing in... Oh my... But then again, it is a fucking trailer bait. So... Moving on. So here's something else specific, which has to do with like, I guess the tech level stuff. All right. So episode 1 of season 2, right? We see the projectile that Jinx launched. All right. And it's the one that caused the chamber, the council chamber, to explode. All right, which it didn't explode. It only exploded very selectively, apparently, or in such a calculated manner that holy shit. But the projectile is not even destroyed. That's the problem. So what is it? What exactly is the scaling of that explosion? It is not strong enough to destroy the actual projectile. Is the projectile super strong? But wouldn't that mean that it contains the explosion within it? Like, I'm not sure. Like, for real, that scene is mind-fucking me so hard. Like, the distraction is barely chamber-wide, first of all. But that's very selective, though. Like, later on, there is an officer, drunk. He asks V, did you lose someone in the attack? What attack? The firecracker? The attack caused by projectile that didn't even explode, but also exploded, like that attack? And why would V be losing people from that attack? She wasn't even near. Why would the officer assume that she was near? Can't he see that she's very clearly, as it has been established within the universe before, that this is very clearly from the Undercity? So... Who else lost anyone in that explosion? Like, the radius of the explosion Like it wasn't. It didn't even leave the room. It was like just chamber wide. And then the project. Honestly, it's just one of those things. Like everything does whatever the fuck it wants. Everything does whatever the fuck it wants, and it doesn't give a shit about your intelligence. Well, yeah. I have another one. Episode 1, Season 2 again. So, that's the one that I wanted to talk about earlier, which I mentioned I'm gonna come back to this because that's like so fucking juicy. Let me read the note as I took it, as the scene was playing out without pausing. I was just typing frantically. So I'm saying again, they infiltrate the gathering for the speeches, and they don't kill the council members when they clearly could. And the person with the weapon, the weird firecracker thingy, is not stopped by any security because there is no security. Like the security. All right, which is inconceivable considering the circumstances, because somebody had just attacked the fucking council chamber, and then why? So their intent is to kill them. Why does this guy not kill the councillor? They're obviously there to murder them because Chainsaw Lady, all right, is attempting to murder Jace, for example. What is going on? They're only attempting to murder people when it's convenient for the plot. They're only attempting to murder people when the people they're attempting to murder cannot be murdered because plot armor. That is like the conclusion of this. And the moment you conclude on that, why would you watch this show? It's like nobody fucking gives a fuck about anything, and I'm talking about the writers. They don't give a fuck. It's like whatever. Their only instructions is here game, here characters, this and that dude in the series. Also this and that dude, no die. No bueno if die. Right, here's your money. That's literally what happened. That's how they wrote Arcane. Oh, and also 2 keywords. Purple and cyan. Go ham. Like... what? Anyway. You want more inconsistencies? Alright, here's a jarring one. Here's a good one. Alright, with Neri Scott, I was already spacing. I was in outer space. I was in the fucking space station. Playing chess. Mentally, okay? With Naruto. And Neri Scott this one. And he was like, why the fuck is the son of the Chainsaw Lady in the mines? In the fucking mines! Where he gets killed accidentally by Jace. He's in. Why would the why? Tell me why. She's a certified badass drag lord. Why is her son destitute, working in the mines? Can you explain that to me? And that becomes a plot point because then the Chainsaw Lady goes like, "Rar, you killed my son." Yeah, of course, because you put him in the mines. Why is your son at the mines to begin with? Didn't you sanction that? Why did you sanction that? Where is that plot line? What? It's... fuck you. Fuck you and the mines and your chainsaw. Your quad chainsaw, whatever the fuck you had. Bullshit. Sorry for yelling. I'll try to yell and growl less, okay? Growling is just like frustration. It's not... don't worry about it. I don't want to be a caricature like Hill's Babyface or something. I don't want to be like that. But like sometimes I just go a little bit overboard. But anyway, I'm gonna get emotional, okay? I'm usually not like that. I'm really sorry. I do scream a lot in games though. But what frustrates me here is not grifting and heckling like Hill's Babyface. It is genuinely frustration with the plot because I don't understand how you would call this a masterpiece when it clearly is like one of the most like silly series I've ever watched. Anyway, continuing, we only have like 5 points to make. Let's go with point number 1. The fight with the blackjack arm. Oh my god, I remember that. So what I mean by that is, do you remember the scene where, well, basically Jinx repairs the one-armed lady's, like Silco's bodyguard, repairs her arm and makes it stronger by applying purple and cyan pink and nothing else. Yeah, she also adds this weird mechanism where you pull a lever and like you're hoping for the for the numbers, or not numbers, you're hoping for the slots to form essentially one of those edgy demon smiles that like edgy demon Jinx sees in her edgy demon deliriums. And when that happens, then the power becomes real or something like that. I don't understand. Like, the music was insufferable. This idea was insufferable. Why did she make it like that? Because it's Jinx, dude. She's so edgy. Oh my god, she's so edgy. You don't understand her madness. Only I do. I wish she was my girlfriend and boyfriend and also a sexual friend. Oh my god. Like, no, I'm sorry. It's just stupid. I'm sorry. Some things are edgy and I enjoy them, and some things are just dumb. And this one is one of them. It's dumb. The whole fight sequence is dumb. The enemy is just dumb, and it's a shame because I really like the one-armed like bodyguard lady. I really liked her. Such and she and V. I'm never gonna say Vi. I'm sorry, but Vi is like. Anyway, her name is Vi. Whatever. Officially called Vi. So Vi. Okay. Who chose that? Anyway, Vi then, whatever. So she, and Vi have the best fight in the series by far. And then to see her fight this weird, like, cat, dog, rat mutant who stands no chance against her at all. And see her fight it with, like, that arm with a lever. I was another moment that just I mentally checked out from that one. I was like, yeah, okay, it's whatever. It's like just okay, yeah. My honest reaction was literally just okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, wake me up when it's over. Unfortunately, it wasn't that long, but the music, holy shit, the music was bad. Anyway, next one. So this is praise, actually. Wow, it's praise, but at the same time, it shows how bad the show was, in my opinion. So episode 8 was the only one I say here where I can actually say it had things to watch. Like, I genuinely watched it. I genuinely just thought it was interesting. You know, um, right now, if you ask me what it was about, I don't remember. My brain just completely flashed all of the info that it contained from watching Arcane. I was just like, nah. And I knew that was gonna happen, and that's why I took notes, but I forgot apparently to note what I liked about it. I simply say that episode doesn't even need a plot. It was interesting to watch. And then I say, but that's just one episode out of whole season with 40-minute episodes each. Yeah. So again, it's a compliment, but at the same time, just one episode. Jesus Christ. And again, that's just my opinion, okay, according to my taste. So all of this is according to just my taste. You can have your own taste, I don't mind it. But I'm gonna talk about it, I'm gonna criticize what I didn't like, is what I'm trying to say. And that's fine. And you can do the opposite. You can make a video where you go ham on like calling it a masterpiece. Oh wait, that already happened 50,000 times. Anyway, but you can do it again. You can do that again. But you're as free to do that as I'm free to criticize it. So suck it, I guess. You don't have to agree, and I don't have to agree with you, and that's fine. Next, so this next one is simply that it tries to have its pie and eat it, which is another expression, just like the one I used earlier where I said that all style, no substance. So yeah, there's also another saying. It tries to have its pie and eat it. Some things are explained in a way that is convenient to the plot and to the scene, but when it's not, everything is surreal and insane and abides to no rules or concepts in any order, and still seems to work out, and we're supposed to expect that. So the difference between that point and another earlier point I made is that like sometimes it actually does try to stick to some rules. But that's what I mean. Why are you trying to stick to some rules? Have you watched movies like Disney's Fantasia? Have you watched like Roger Rabbit or Howard the Duck, I guess, or other insane shit? Cool World. Have you watched Cool World? Have you watched like other more insane shit? Let's go. Like even more weird shit. Weird shit can work, okay? But weird shit works only if you don't try to apply logic to them. Because the moment you're trying to do both, so having your pie and eating it, you're going to fail. And guess what happens with Arcane? It fails because it's trying to do both. Oh, yeah, this explosion knocked Jinx out. Oh, yeah, but Jinx also survived the gas. Oh, but also she got pushed around by some street back alley bullies. Oh, yeah, but also she's super fast and super strong. Oh, yeah, but also she's weak. Oh, but also strong, but also... yeah. And Jinx is just one example. I'm not picking on Jinx. I'm sorry, Jinx. And I'm sorry, Jinx fans. It's just that she's obviously at the epicenter. It's the easiest example to pick. There are many other examples. Vi, I almost said V again. But Vi is another example. Like, how durable is she? Well, yes. Okay, so how vulnerable is she? Oh, also yes, she's just a human. Yeah, but then how strong is she? Immeasurably. But you just said she's just a human. You showed us she's just human. She gets knocked out normally. Yes, but no, because in the next scene you can see that she takes a beating. Yeah, but then on the next scene you show us that like she's vulnerable again. Okay, so okay, so you can have both. Either convince me that like they are toon characters where they have basically cartoon superpowers, which is fine, like Popeye the Sailor Man, right? Nobody can die, everyone can survive some punches that can send them flying to the sun, and then the sun just knocks them back out. Like, yeah, make it cartoon powers. But you can't have like Popeye and then make it realistic and be like, yeah, it's also realistic though, because Popeye got knocked out by a punch to the jaw, and we all know that a punch to the jaw can potentially knock you... It doesn't work, okay? It just doesn't work. And that's why also Arcane doesn't work. And that's why its power levels, its power system, its magic tech and people system, it's non-existent. It's like arbitrary. They're just all the reality itself is a suggestion in Arcane, because again, like locations seem to be shifting places. It's fucking Gomorrah out there. It's in the webway, dude. It's in the warp, not even the webway. Like it's directly into the warp. It basically takes place in 40k. I'm pretty convinced. Inside the warp, inside 40k, 100%. So, yeah, it tries to have its pie and eat it. I dislike that. I heavily dislike that. It's bad. Don't do that. Stick to your systems, you know? Make something that makes sense. So, here's my last criticism. This one is a big one. Kinda, or not a big one, but an important one, I would say. So, having watched that, alright, and as someone who, well, I do like the character of Harley Quinn, right? I do like the character of the Joker. I don't consider them to be like the be-all and end-all of like writing or anything, but I do enjoy them on screen, and I find their shenanigans pretty interesting and all that, and blah blah. At the same time, like, why is it so popular to idealize and fetishize that? That is the more, not accept and understand, but fetishize and idealize mental illness. I don't understand that, honestly. Is there like an arbitrary scale according to which being a homicidal maniac is a cool trend, but being into 40k means that you're basically a fascist. I don't understand. And yeah, I'm inserting 40k because it's a good comparison. Um, is 40k like, are Space Marines fascists, but Jinx and Harley Quinn are cool and are in no way like idealizing mental illness and like fetishizing mental illness? Like, is that like some kind of triple standard over there? Anyway, be that as it may, I leave that decision to you, like what is okay and what is not, and whether or not 40k is fascist. You can find my video on it. But one thing is for certain, and that takes no debate. Jinx presented the way that she is, and Harley Quinn, even though I like both characters, and Joker, presented the way they are, the way that some people perceive them. And in the case of Jinx, is the most prominent because at least you're not meant to like the Joker. And to a degree, you're not meant to like Harley Quinn, even though she makes you so fucking horny at nights. With Jinx, it is like completely mishandled. It is unapologetically mishandled to the point where it literally fetishizes and markets mental illness. All right, and the depiction of her quote unquote demons, inner demons, not biblical, obviously. Her her torment by her own thoughts and her own mind playing games on her is presented in such a way that the only thing that you can think when you think about it is like, oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. To hear voices makes you so cool. It's not a cautionary tale. 40k, as I argued in my video about it, is a cautionary tale. Is Jinx a cautionary tale for like how certain circumstances can push you over the edge? It's that hard? No. It's literally, even though she's presented to be, surviving some kind of drama / trauma, in reality it's presented in such a way that surviving drama and trauma and mental like torture like that and manipulation is such a cool thing because it makes you such a cool character that is so cute and sexy and like kicks ass and is like Batman, but also like I personally disagree with that like completely. In Senua, Hellblade, okay, Senua Sacrifice, I think was the first game. Senua isn't presented as someone who you should idolize, but rather someone who we help through the game confront her demons and kind of like survive with them through a certain situation. And yeah, it's completely different. That's a good way to handle it. The way that Arcane handles Jinx is the worst possible, the worst and most pretentious and unashamed and unapologetic way you can handle a character with very clear mental illness and trauma. And I completely shit all over that. I don't fuck with that shit, okay? I'm not gonna say anything more about it. Just know that like literally I don't fuck with that. I don't fuck with the way they're presenting it in Arcane, and to me that is like inexcusable, beyond belief. So yeah, because at least in League of Legends you don't focus on that. Okay, to me as an outside observer, Jinx was always like this edgy teen who kind of like hears voices like, in the sense of like 40k chaos would affect you. She's kind of loony, that's it. But in Arcane, the way they present it and how it's handled is inexcusable to me and quite harmful. I'm sorry, that's my opinion in it, and I'm not shaking on that. I'm dying on that hill, I'm sorry. They could have handled it like a lot better and made it into a meaningful, like personal drama, and like you could have done so many things. Instead they chose to make it like, oh, it's so cool, like isn't it cool, she's a fucking complete homicidal psychopath. They turned her into this completely irredeemable monster, and then they are fetishizing it. I'm okay with the first part. I'm not okay with the first part combined with the second part. Like, bro, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, to me, and then I left that point like as a closing note for this stream. To me, that is like the biggest failing of Arcane, and the worst thing it could have done. And honestly, I don't know. I gave it a thumbs down in the end, but not because of that. It's because of all the other reasons as well. But when I saw what they were doing with Jinx, I have to say that I was disgusted. I'm sorry. As someone who is living or used to be living, because now I'm on a separate apartment, with a family where one of them had severe mental issues to the point of hearing voices and of like doing violent stuff and like being in a situation very similar to what Jinx seems to be going through. I'm gonna tell you, it's not fun. Not only is it not fun, realistically, such a person, especially if they are as violent as they're portrayed, yeah, you don't want to fuck with that. You don't want to like fuck with it. You don't want to talk about it. You want to like comment on it. I'm not gonna like open that can of worms on my stream. I have lived with a person like that. I know how it is, and it disgusts me no end that like they fetishize it in Arcane, and that to me is like just a no. But again, that is only just one reason why I really think it's just dog shit in the end. If people think this is truly a masterpiece, I just want a jetpack so I can find my way over to another planet, because like Jesus fucking Christ. And I'm not saying that because of my bias with mental illness, but because of the other like myriad reasons I mentioned, which I think are quite potent on themselves. And for which I just don't really think this is a masterpiece. I think it is a very mediocre piece of shit. And there is nothing special about it other than it's flashy and its fight choreography is amazing. But we don't get enough of it, and it's cut short, and the characters are stupid, and the motives are stupid, and the plot is stupid, and in general, just what the fuck. There is a lot that can be salvaged. There's a lot that could have been reused or could be reused. Maybe it will be in a better way. But Arcane as it stands right now to me is like as mediocre as your, flavor of the month, like shonen anime or something. It's like not even that basically. It's like, it's just trailer material turned into a story, and then it took itself way too seriously. And then some kids who just literally have sugar instead of blood at this point, and like energy drinks instead of blood at this point, just found it really cool because it's purple and cyan, and that's the story of Arcane. I'm sorry, that's my opinion, and it's not gonna change. I'm not gonna watch that dog shit again. I can't finish season 2, especially now that I know that it has time travel. It's like out of the question, and honestly I can't take any more of what they're doing with Jinx, because I'm really just against idealizing and fetishizing mental illness on this level. It's like, just nah, that's not it, bro. So yeah, I ain't fucking with it. As a story, you can call it like a very mediocre like story, in my opinion, and that's it. Like it's trailer material, honestly. That's all. Very flashy. I wish they were honest with themselves and just did like a fighting anime or something. That would, with the animation and quality they put in their visuals, because let me tell you right now, visually it's 10 out of 10. Sound wise, 10 out of 10. Like, it's really fucking impressive. Huge production value. It's like crazy. Take that money and put it into a fucking just a simple fighting thingy, and yeah, I'll be on board that. But like what they've done now is like just, I don't know. They took themselves way too seriously, I guess. And now that's what you're gonna get stuck with for the next like 50 sessions or something. So yeah, whatever. Okay, well, that's it. That's all I had to say about Arcane. And it's been 2 hours and almost 50 minutes. And because I'm gonna keep my word to that person who came to my YouTube comments and said, "Why 3 hours?" I'm gonna make sure that this is 3 hours. out of spite, like completely. And to do that, I'm just gonna eat my cookie, which I'm going to ceremoniously unwrap very slowly so that I burn some time. I might even describe it. It's very big and it's got like chocolate chips on top. I am now going to tear the wrapper. I don't know if you can hear that, but this is content for that guy specifically. Well, this looks like a very soft cookie. Let me see if it's soft. Is it soft? Are you soft? No, it's actually... let me try to break off a piece. A good balance between crunchy and soft for such a wide and thin cookie. I wish the chocolate was more, you know, more dispersed because it's like very concentrated at the center. That said, I'm gonna take a bite and see how, you know, I feel about it. It has a bit of zesty taste. It's like, it's almost as if it's a lemon cookie, a lemon chocolate cookie. It made my mouth wet. It crumbled in my mouth pretty easily, but it was still chewy enough that I really enjoyed it. And that makes me want to reach the place where there is actually chocolate. Holy shit. It's a good cookie. I wish I could... This is one of those cookies that I wish I could warm somehow, like make them warm. Let me try another piece. Yeah. Definitely an acidic undertone of some sort. It's crunchy as well, but not too much, as I said. And it doesn't do this thing where the pieces stick in your teeth or something. It's nice. It's nice and it's pleasant as it's like, as you chew it and you reduce it to a pulp in your mouth and then you swallow it. It's like, the texture is nice and it leaves like this interesting aftertaste. Also, the sound it makes, you know, the sound it makes when you crunch it is not like they're not unpleasant. It has this like grandmother moment, you know, where the cookie is just right and you know, she gave it to you and it's just right. It has this kind of vibe to it, this kind of energy. Except it's way too large. It's way large for something that your grandmother would give you. That's the only difference. A bit of chocolate, let's see. That's interesting. Let me get some more chocolate. That's a very interesting combination, actually. It makes me wish it had more chocolate. Let's see. Oh. That's great. Oh, the chocolate just balances it perfectly. Okay. Yeah, okay. That's why they... Okay, so now I see. I think it's on purpose that it's like concentrated and not spread all over the cookie. When it hits, when you break a piece off that has like chocolate on it, the chocolate has this potent flavor, taste, right? And it completely subverts your expectations because the rest of the cookie prepares you for that particular experience, right? And then you have the chocolate bit and it completely turns it around on you. And you're like, I want more, but I want more from the plain side And then I want to have some of the chocolate side so I can have this contrast hit me again. How am I doing? How am I doing, in your opinion, in wasting time until I hit like 3 hours? By describing this picture, this, not picture, this cookie, this experience. About halfway, so time well wasted, yeah. It's the perfect cookie to accompany your cappuccino, since your cappuccino is going to have whipped cream at the very least. Or rather not whipped cream, but like milk cream. Or froth, you know, whatever you choose. And this cookie and the chocolate on it are not milky at all in any way. So, and then you have this a little bit of sourness, right? But also you have the potent chocolate, and then you have your coffee, which is kind of bittersweet, and it all kind of comes together, you know. Which is also why some brands of coffee are specifically valued or sought after for their more acidic taste, because that quality actually lends itself well to some brands, let's say, some brews, I should say. All this in trying to point out that the fact that it's zesty, if that's the word, it's a bit lemony, like the cookie, doesn't actually break the palette of aftertastes you're gonna be getting if you're having a cappuccino and like one of these cookies. I'm gonna see how it lends itself to vaping. Let's check. Interesting. The aftertaste is not strong enough to completely blanket the taste of your vape, it seems. But I would definitely mix it with something light and sweet as your vape. Definitely. I wouldn't try anything. I'm not sure how this would mix with tobacco tastes or actual tobacco or rolled cigarettes or something. Probably not that well. It would probably make your throat a bit rougher, which would make the experience of swallowing the cookie, unless you chew it really well, a little bit more unpleasant, but not really unpleasant, just a little bit more unpleasant. But now I'm combining it with a very light and kind of sweet flavor of vape with very low nicotine, and it seems to be going well, like, you know, one over the other. So in general I would give this combination of like relaxing and just like having these two cookies and like a cappuccino and then vaping a little bit and just chilling to it, I would give this like a very solid 6.8 out of 10. It's good, it's worth it. It's not among the best. It's not absolutely top tier, but it does the job. The cookies could have been a bit warmer, I feel. And of course my cup of cappuccino is been there for like at least 1 hour now. So these two facts probably detract, you know, and I've been talking a lot, which also probably makes my throat feel a little bit already kind of rough, I guess. It's a good closing for a stream like this, for the specific purpose of like hitting the 3-hour mark so I can torture that guy in particular. And no, it's like 2 minutes left. Hey, you know what? add a BRB to the tally. Just 5, and I'll be right back. I'm back, and I'll explain to you before I leave. Just so we're well over the 3-hour mark, adding insult to injury, but also getting another point across. So why am I okay, for example, you could ask, with like Harley Quinn as a character, but not Jinx, the way she's portrayed in Arcane specifically? It's because Harley has been shown to realize her predicament and not allow herself to be manipulated anymore by the Joker, and empowered through that process, as well as abandon like some of her more loony ways, not by how some of the more failed movies portrayed here, but like animated DC movies, which are the only ones that I take personally seriously, which treat her with respect, I'm not gonna lie, and treat her situation with respect, like all the abuse from the Joker and all that. And in more recent comics as well, that abuse is no longer fetishized. It's shown as what it is to be. So there you have it. Whereas the way that I saw Jinx in Arcane specifically has none of those redeeming values at all. And again, it's not a cautionary tale. It's not a tale of like redemption through it or whatever. It's just literally she crazy and crazy is good, and yeah, you go wild, girl, slay queen. So yeah, it is different. It is quite different. Now, if you can't see that or you won't accept that, then that's your problem and your fucking opinion. And I'm not gonna go against it, because going against people's opinions is kind of rough sometimes. And all I wanted to do is offer mine anyway, not fight yours. I just want you to realize that like there are people out there who, if Optimus Prime was portrayed as selling drugs, they would fucking clap for that. They would go for it. They would go hard for that. They would start believing that, like, yeah, that's a good thing for sure. I mean, there are people out there that believe that building a wall to wall of Mexico would have been a good idea just because, like, Trump said it. So, you know, point proven, I guess. Kaori says, okay, gotta poof, take care. All right, Kaori, thank you for being here, if you were, or for dropping by. Friday, we're gonna go wild, okay? That's it. Friday, we're gonna fuck some things up in Baldur's Gate. Sorry, just trying to sit up properly. Shit. And the reason why I'm trying to sit up properly is because I want to turn on my camera. Ta-da! Hi. Let me just fix things a little bit. There. Hello. How are you doing? Gotta fucking stretch a little bit. Cute? No, I don't think so. I'm leaving. Bye. Oh my god. Goodbye, Kaori. Take care if you're leaving. Wait. Don't worry, I'm gonna turn on the camera again. Just wanna sit down a little bit better. There. You don't see the difference, but I feel it for sure. Also, this is the wrapper of my cookie. Wait, I'll show you. That's the cookie I've been having. Okay, that's the cookie I've been having, and it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fucking good. Also, do you see this effect where if I'm doing this, it's like darker? I can be a Dark Lord or Dark Lady over here rather. But I thought of Dark Lord because of like Dr. Claw, you know, just sitting in the darkness, you can only see the hand and the cat. But if I come closer, it's like, yeah, it's like this. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I just thought that like some screen time would have been nice. At the end, you know, all the way at the 3 hours and above, for sure. And I can grace you with my gamer eyes, which are very tired because I didn't sleep well. And yeah, that's it for today. I'm sorry for the no Baldur situation, but as you saw or heard or deduced by now, that's gonna be moved to Friday. I could stream a bit more now, I guess, but like, just a sec, there we go. I could stream a bit more now, but I'm not quite sure what I would stream right now. This caught me unprepared, I have to admit. I don't know. Probably nothing. Probably, you know, just take the day off, you know, from work. How about that? And I'll see you tomorrow, where I do know what I want to play tomorrow, and that's gonna be some Killing Antidote, because I missed it. And you know, put some good music on, just vibe to it. Maybe some Halls of Torment and shit. Both are pretty good ideas. But for now, I think I'll just give myself a break, actually. If you don't mind. I will retreat into the darkness, just like so, and become one with, like, the shelf, like, behind me. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna disappear like Jinx in the darkness. Like an amalgamation of the Joker and Batman and Harley Quinn and a billion other things, like anything that sells, basically. So, thanks for watching, or thanks for listening. Thanks for not losing your shit over my opinions, I guess. Imagine being thanked for that. Imagine having to thank someone for that. If you did lose your shit over my opinions, just remember that they're my opinions. And that you don't even have to be here. You don't even have to watch it, which, you know, that's a valuable lesson which not a lot of us actually realize. Like, for example, the guy that was asking me, why 3 hours? As if I forced that person to watch or something. Yeah. I wonder how this video is gonna do. It's pretty interested in that. Like, if it's gonna go the 40k route and surprise me or not. But again, that wasn't the purpose. Neither with the 40k video nor with this one. Purpose was only me sharing my opinions, I guess. You know. And in a baiting move, okay, in a baiting move, I'm gonna even name it About Arcane. dot dot dot, like I did with 40k video. It was about 40k dot dot dot. It seemed to work, so let's see what happens. And that's it. Thank you for being here. I hope you don't fucking hate me, but if you do, hey, you know, that's like a, sounds like a you problem, and I'm sure you'll find a way to solve it in a way that I don't care about. And yeah, stay safe. If you enjoyed this, by the way, thank you very much. Stay safe, stay cool, and I'll catch you tomorrow for some antidote and some Halls of Torment. And I'll see if Katya may be around, and I'll do Vampire Survivors with her, like co-op. And now I'll go and enjoy some Guild Wars. And some quiet from my own voice, because believe it or not, as someone with voice dysphoria, listening to my voice for that long is like just, I don't know, it's bad for me, I don't know. That's as much as I can take. And hey, maybe you feel the same. Who knows? I can't tell for sure. Like the way that I hear my voice is probably like completely different than what you're hearing. Not to say that that's a good voice, but like different for sure. So who knows what the fuck you're feeling when you're listening to me. Maybe my voice and my tone infuriate you or something or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you love it. Maybe it's completely obnoxious to you. Who the fuck knows? But what I do know is that like I can't stay for longer. This is like my limit for yapping. Thank you for enduring my yap then. Have an amazing Monday. I'll catch you tomorrow. Be safe. Kisses.